Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ThreadTalk. I'm your host, Teresa.
This is my part. I'm Denver.
And today, we are talking about little phrase that...
I feel like it's my favorite phrase.
Yeah, I think
is
it
the
is.
title. Sometimes it's okay to be the asshole.
I don't know if anybody else has said it before, but I feel like it's our phrase. It's what we're known for.
I feel like it's our middle name.
Yes. Denver, sometimes it's okay to be the asshole, too.
Yeah. Because just sometimes I feel like I'm kind of an asshole. And that's why, so I just feel like sometimes when I read these stories, I'm like, yeah, you are the asshole. You should know you're the asshole, but I still think you should do what you did.
I respect it.
Yeah, I respect you being the asshole, but you gotta understand you are being the asshole.
Yes, so I'm sure you guys will probably know most of our takes, but maybe not. Maybe I won't agree with some of your stories that it's okay to be the asshole. Maybe you won't agree with mine.
Yeah.
But you'll know the verdict for majority.
Yeah, there's going to be a common theme, right? I've got a lot of good stories coming up. Some of them like, am I the asshole for wearing the joke bikini my friend got me? Or am I the asshole for adopting my brother's affair baby?
Ooh.
And lots of others. We try to
Juicy.
get through 10 to 14 stories per episode. So if you guys are new to the channel, strap in because it's about to be a good time.
Hell yeah. Shall we just get into it?
Let's get right into it. You want to go first? Should I go first? Should we rock, paper, scissors?
I'll go.
Okay.
You want to rock, paper, scissors?
Just vetoed it. Just boom, done. Okay.
You asked.
I did.
Okay, so I'll take you up on it.
All right. Take us away.
All right. This one comes from AITAH. Am I the asshole for telling my brother-in-law he's getting bald after he told me I'm gaining weight? I'm female 16. My older sister, Mia, is 27, and her husband, Hugh, is 23. Hugh is a bully, and I don't like him. He always says something about my weight every single time. Mind you, my weight is perfect for my height, and I can run a marathon. I'm way fitter than he is, but he always somehow suggests I'm gaining weight. While I've learned to not let it get to me, I don't appreciate someone acting like this within my family. I've already spoken to Mia as she doesn't do anything, and my parents tell me it would be rude to tell him to not greet or show concern. And one time I confronted him, and he said his concern is for my health. And I told him if he has any health concerns for me, he should bring it up to Mia, who would speak to me as my sister, rather than a grown-ass man who I have no bond with acting like a bully. Anyways, he keeps doing it, so my brother, 18, suggested I bring up his hair, as he's obsessed with saving what remains of it, with little success. So, I did it last night. They visited us, and he told me it looks like I've gained weight. I said, it looks like you've lost a fair bit of hair since we last met, and at this rate you're going bald before 32. He got visibly upset, went into the bathroom to look at his hair, and then told Mia and my parents that he was greatly offended. I just shrugged and said, as long as he speaks about my weight, I'm going to bring up him going bald. If he shuts up, I will too. While Mia thinks this is fair game, my parents think I'm being an asshole and want me to apologize to Hugh and be the bigger person. My brother says I did well. Am I the asshole?
I don't even think she's an asshole. Like, it's not even like sometimes it's okay to be the asshole. Like, I personally, like, okay, maybe you said something rude, but like, he deserved it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you're playing fair. I'm playing his game. I am giving what I am taking. I am mirroring his...
You're matching his energy.
Matching. That's it. That's what I was looking for. Matching the energy.
Yeah, I think it's like a little bit like fighting fire with fire. Like,
right?
You, like, I don't know, try to be the bigger person. But in this case, like, no, you don't really need to. Like,
No, don't be the bigger person.
match his energy. That's... Yeah, he wants to attack you for your appearances, like attack him right back.
Yeah. I almost want a t-shirt that says you don't have to be the bigger person.
You don't have to be the...
Wait.
So many merch ideas, yet we don't have any merch.
No. What, another t-shirt idea? I'm not the bigger person. And then on the back of the t-shirt it says don't fuck with me.
Oh, okay.
Either one.
Yeah.
Fucking bald ass Jerry over here. Bully. 11-year age gap between the older sister and her. 27 to 16.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, and that's really insane of Mia, like her older sister, to just let him do this.
Pretty toxic family. Sounds like she's already brought things up in the past.
Yeah.
she's literally typing this out like, oh, he is not like, oh, he said it to me once and this is what I said. Like, no, he's known as a bully. Like, he's an asshole.
Yeah. That's like you saying something rude to my sister and me not sticking up for her and being like, don't say that.
Yeah, who says that? She's a growing kid. Who says, "Oh, you're gaining weight.
16.
You're gaining weight." She can run a marathon and she's perfectly healthy. And every time he's like, "You're gaining weight," it's like,
even if she wasn't, it's not his place to say anything.
No matter what, you never say something about weight.
You never, ever, ever. No matter if it's like you look good or you look bad, like literally just don't talk about weight.
Or even looking good or looking bad.
That's what I mean.
Like, realistically, you shouldn't even compliment the younger sister on, like, an outfit or anything, especially at that big of an age gap. At the very most I can see, if she got something new that was visual, like a new tattoo, a new piercing, or changed her hair color, there you go. Throw a compliment out there. Nice ear piercing. I see you got your ears pierced. Cool. Cool tattoo on your arm. Congrats on your tattoo. Yeah. I see you went blonde with your hair. Your hair looks good. That's at the most. I can't think of anything else where you should even be commentary on a 16-year-old sister-in-law. I
agree. And just in general, I think, like, even if you're complimenting people, and, you know, I am guilty of doing this in the past, and I'm trying not to do this anymore, but, like, commenting on people who look good, who have lost weight. I think that's also very harmful, because then it's like, oh, it feeds into their, like...
I don't know if I would 100% go that far, because I think it depends on the person. I think some people, yeah, maybe you shouldn't mention it. You should act like everything's normal and not bring attention to it. But some people also thrive off of that too, of getting that compliment if they have been, you know, not their desired weight for a long time, and then they've been working on it. I feel like those kind of people kind of would like thrive off that compliment. Like, oh, you've noticed it too? I've noticed it. So that one I think is a little bit of a sensitive one, where it's
like it
always
could
hard
be harmful, but
could be.
Yeah, it's difficult. I feel like
that one's person dependent. I feel like,
yeah,
some people thrive and some people don't.
But that's why I feel like just take, like,
because it's kind of rude, because it depends on the person. They can be like, oh, you thought I was overweight before?
That too. And I don't know, like, I think it's just like a bad cycle where it's like, you only think I look good because I lost weight, like, you know,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. So that's where it's like, it's tough. I feel like it depends if, like, you've known that the person is making an extra effort to try to lose the weight, not just, oh, like, it looks like, it's like you show up to the family function. It's like, oh, it looks like you lost weight. And that person could be like not trying to go to the gym, not doing anything. And she could be like, you thought I was overweight before. But if you know someone's like actively trying to go to the gym, and you know, they talk to you about them trying their goals and stuff like that, and then you see them, I feel like that's where it could be encouraging.
I think that's different. Yeah. Because also people lose weight without trying, and it's due to other stuff like mental health issues or, like new medication or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, it can be a bunch of different things. So you complimenting someone on their weight loss, like, it's not always like their intention. Maybe it wasn't like intended,
exactly.
So
I feel like maybe on most people you shouldn't, but if they've been, you know, actively telling you like, oh, I'm on a new diet, or oh, I've been going to the gym more often, or oh, I got a personal trainer, those are kind of the cues to where if when you do see it, they're gonna appreciate that kind of compliment.
That's true. Yeah.
That's person dependent.
Fair enough. All right. Top comment. Not the asshole, but I want to know why your parents think it's acceptable for a 30-year-old man to bully a 16-year-old child. Why is it so important that his feelings mustn't be hurt, but yours are fair game?
Because they are pushovers, doormats, and they are the don't rock the boat people.
Yeah, keep the peace. Keep the peace. Hate those people.
I just thought of another t-shirt idea. I hate keeping the peace.
Okay. These are going to be sold at Forever 21. all the cheesy t-shirt sayings.
I love it.
All right, on to you.
Okay. We're going to start off with a nice, quick, short, simple one coming in from Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for accepting money from my parents for my wedding and then eloping? My parents gave each of my brothers $50,000 when they graduated from university as a down payment on their home. When I graduated, they did not do the same for me. I asked about it, and they said my husband should be providing. I wasn't even married, and I still lived at home. 3 years later, I met my husband. We dated for a year, and then we got engaged. My parents were overjoyed. When we set the date, they gave me a check for $50,000 to pay for the wedding. WTF? I took the check, and we eloped. We then used the check for a down payment on a house. My husband had a similar amount saved up, so we were in a good spot with equity. My parents are furious now that they didn't get to have a big wedding for all their friends and family to attend. They said that they gave me the money for a wedding. My argument is that I got married and I had leftover money. Accurate in my books. My brothers are on their side, so I'm here to ask if I'm wrong. Am I the asshole?
Is OP a woman?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I got from it because she said my brothers.
My brothers, you could still have a brother as a boy.
Sorry, they didn't do the same for me. I asked about it and they said my husband should provide. So either she's a girl or they know he's gay.
Okay. I feel like this maybe... I'm just trying to understand why they gave her money when she announced that she was getting married versus like the brother, the money after he graduated.
Sexist misogyny?
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
in the parents' part?
Is it because like her sole purpose, quote unquote, is to get married and like make a family and stuff, and the brothers is to like, I don't know, pursue higher education and get a good job and stuff? Like,
I don't know
what I mean? Like, is that what they value? I feel like that shows the typical gender roles.
100%.
So no, I feel like no. Like, I kind of get both sides, like a little bit.
I feel like you are kind of an asshole because as much as your parents are misogynistic and sexist and stuff, they did give you the $50,000 to a wedding. First off, parents don't owe their kids anything after 18. So if they want to give one kid $100,000 and they give all the other kids nothing, yes, it's unfair, but it is what it is. Your parents don't technically owe you anything. So yes, it's unfair and stuff. So, but they did give you the $50,000 to pay for your wedding. So are you kind of an asshole for not using that money solely to have a huge wedding? Yeah. Do I think you made the right decision? Hells yeah, I'm on your side.
Me too.
It's okay to be the asshole.
Yeah.
I just mean from the perspective of the parents and everything that gave you that money. Do I think it's bullshit that they gave your brothers $50,000 when they graduated university and they only gave it to you when you got married? Yeah. My other question would be like, did they give the brothers another $50,000 for their wedding? Or did they expect their bride's parents to put that money in? And it's like all of the kids got $50,000, but at different times, which is still bullshit. If you're going to give all your kids $50,000, give all the kids $50,000 at the same life marks, or else you're going to have unhappy kids. And if that's the way that you want to treat your family, you can treat your family that way and have the resentment from your daughter, which is obviously what happened to them.
Yeah, the same way they don't really owe you that money, your kids also don't owe you a relationship with them.
Yeah. So top comment, not the asshole. Your family is being horrible and is using a bullshit double standard. They didn't expect your brothers to use that money for a big wedding, but you have to. They wouldn't have helped you get a home unless it was through marriage, but your brothers didn't have that condition and just got the money. And they expected you to have a huge wedding so that they could have fun. Saving up the money is the responsible thing to do, and they're being bad parents if they'd rather you spend it all on a huge wedding that you don't even want. And just a question though, to be clear, there was a wedding and they were invited, right? And they're angry because the wedding wasn't big enough? And then OP replies and says, there was a wedding. So I guess they didn't elope.
Maybe what we're doing, like similar, but with like...
There's no update, but OP does drop a lot of comments. And one of the comments she replies, she says, to be more exact, we told them we were engaged. My dad went to his office and came back with a check for the money. We accepted it. We went home, talked about it. We decided that we were not going to blow that kind of money on a wedding. We went to the county clerk and got a marriage license. We talked to our friends and they agreed to let us use their house. We went to the bank and put $50,000 down on our mortgage. We can pay it down without penalty once a year. It took us 2 weeks or so to get set with an officiant and everything. We had 6 friends and my parents present for the wedding, costing a total of $500. Pretty good. He used 1% of the funds.
Yeah. No, it's really smart. Especially if, like, the parents don't really give you the money. Like, you can only accept this money if you have, like, a wedding. I don't know.
Yeah, the interesting thing is they didn't actually use the money to buy a house. They already bought the house. They just literally put $50K down on their mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Which is smart.
Is it?
Isn't it?
I don't know.
So you're not paying the interest on it.
Right? But at the same time, this is where we're going off subject, but I've always wondered this. I've never been in this situation, but, you know, I've heard people say both sides. They're like, you need to pay down your mortgage as fast as possible. But it's like, okay, like, depending on how much you bought your house for, I'm just going to use, let's put this situation to us. We bought our first house. We try to buy anything around here, $800,000. Cool. We have an $800,000 mortgage. We get a check from our parents for $50,000 for our wedding. And we're like, you know what? We're going to have a super small wedding. What are we going to do with the rest of the money? Are we going to put $50,000 down on an $800,000 mortgage that we're going to be paying off forever? I feel like I wouldn't. I feel like I would put the $50K into like investments, into the bank, and just make sure it's there for a rainy day to be able to not miss any mortgage payments in case something came up.
Okay, these investments that you're putting it in, is it going to have a higher rate of return than the interest that you're paying on the mortgage would be?
That's smart. I don't know. I didn't think of that.
Well, that's usually how people...
I just mean like 800,000... Like
weigh the options.
Right? 800,000, I feel like it's a drop in the bucket. 50,000 is like nothing compared to the total amount of my mortgage. So that's where I'm like, was that what I would do with 50K if I had a mortgage like that? Would I bother with the 50K, or would I just like put it in the bank to kind of like?
I think it would literally come down to the interest rates, like.
Right.
That's what it would be.
It's tough.
Yeah, and most investments, like, you can't guarantee X amount unless you're putting it in a savings account that is like very, very low risk, like with the banks, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
I would think that paying off the mortgage would be a smarter financial decision. But that's just me coming from an accountant.
What if you use that 50,000 to put it as a down payment on an investment property instead? Buy another house?
Yeah.
Double down?
Possibly.
I don't know. I always wondered that. If you get the lump sum, do you pay it off or do you invest it into something else? So,
yeah.
Any financial advisors out there, drop it down in the comments on Spotify.
All right. Me?
Back to you.
Okay.
Before we get into the next story, I just want to give a quick mention to this week's sponsor, Moshi Health.
Are you struggling to find a weight loss plan that actually sticks? Look no further than Mochi Health. They're all about taking a holistic approach to weight loss, combining science-backed medications like LGP-1s, including Ozempic, with personalized support from real doctors and dietitians. With Mochi, you're not just getting meds. You'll have consultations with board-certified doctors, registered dietitians, and have your medication delivered straight to your door. Plus, it's affordable whether or not your insurance covers it. Their dietitians work hand in hand with your medication to create a nutrition plan tailored to your life, helping you make sustainable changes for long-term results.
To get started at Moshi Health, you got to go to joinmoshi.com and make sure to use our code ThreadTalk for $40 off your order. That's code ThreadTalk at joinmoshi.com for $40 off. Thank you guys so much, and we'll get back to the stories now. Hey guys, before we get into the next story, we just want to let you know that we are currently conducting a survey so that we can get your feedback on our show.
You guys may have noticed that we now have some ads on our podcast, but we want to improve that experience a little bit more. So in order to do that, we need to get to know you guys a little bit more. So filling out the survey will really, really, really help us out. So if you want to support us in any way you can, filling out the survey will really help us.
The survey takes about a total of 2 minutes, and we'll leave the link down below so it's super easy for you guys to access. Thanks for helping us out, and we'll get back to the stories.
Thank you. Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she stole my baby name? Throwaway because my sister's on here. All right, Reddit, buckle up because this one's a doozy. So my 28 female sister, 32 female, and I have always had a rocky relationship. She's always been the quote-unquote golden child, while I'm basically the black sheep of the family. Growing up, she was a straight-A student, the prom queen, and the one who got a full scholarship to some fancy college while I was just me. Fast forward to now. I'm 6 months pregnant with my first child, a little girl. I've had a name picked out since I was like 12 years old. Okay, sorry if I butcher this. I think it's Isla Grace. It's spelled I-S-L-A. Isla or Isla? I don't know. I'm going to say Isla. Isla Grace. It's a name that has so much meaning to me. Isla is a nod to our Scottish heritage, and Grace was the name of my best friend who passed away in high school. I've told my sister, my mom, my dad, and literally anyone who would listen that I was going to name my daughter Isla Grace. They all knew how important this name was to me. A few months ago, my sister got engaged. Her wedding is in 2 weeks, and everything's been about her, as usual. Whatever, I'm used to it. But last week, during a family dinner, she casually announces that they've chosen their baby name for when they have kids. She's not pregnant, by the way. And guess what she says? Isla Grace. I honestly thought she was joking at first, but nope, she's dead serious. When I confronted her about it, she acted like it wasn't a big deal and said, well, you don't own the name. Besides, I think it sounds pretty with my last name. Excuse me? I nearly lost it. I told her she was being selfish and that she knew how much that name meant to me. She just shrugged and said I was overreacting. I was so pissed that I told her if she was going to use the name, I wouldn't attend her wedding. My parents are freaking out, calling me immature, and telling me to just let it go, because there are other names out there. My mom even had the nerve to say, it's just a name, sweetie, don't ruin your sister's big day over this. Now my whole family is mad at me. Now I'm being treated like the villain for even considering skipping the wedding. My husband supports me, but he also thinks we should just go to keep the peace. I'm torn between wanting to stand my ground and feeling like maybe I'm blowing things out of proportion. So Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because she stole my baby name? Or should I just suck it up and let her have her way again?
I'm all over the map here. Okay, let's lay it out. Here's what I'm thinking. Yes, I think you are the asshole not to go to the wedding. I think your sister is a bigger asshole. But I think the most funniest thing here is the sister's not even pregnant.
Exactly.
She just wanted to cause drama. Like, your sister is a piece of shit. So I would be like to my parents, yeah. It's I am over it. No big deal. I'm over my relationship with her. So I wouldn't be going to the wedding, because it comes down to like more fundamental things. It's like, you're not even pregnant. You're just saying this hypothetical in the future of who knows when you're going to get pregnant. And there was really no need for you to do this bullshit. And you literally are, this is such a rare name. This is not like Samantha.
Yeah, right?
Or Veronica or Jessica or just whatever common name. This is so rare, where it's like you are just trying to be the biggest asshole that you can be. So I don't even want a relationship with you anymore. But also, she's already married. So hypothetically, she might have a kid before her sister does, if her sister's not even pregnant yet. She's pregnant.
OP is pregnant.
Okay. So I would be like, are you dumb? I'm literally naming my kid that.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me that if you hypothetically have a kid in the future, you're going to name the kid the same thing too. I'd be like, cool, go ahead. Mine's going to be the one who's well known. You're going to look like the fucking weirdo of the family because my kid's going to be 3 and has been called this name for 3 years, and you're going to have a kid, and everybody in the family is going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Because we already have someone in the family who's named like that. I'd just be looking at her with like deer eyes, or like the eyes of like, I'm just staring at a fucking idiot. Like, I don't understand how dumb you can be. Like, you just wanted to piss me off. I feel like that's the only reason you came up with this fucking bullshit. And because of that, I don't want to come to your wedding. No, I'm fucking mad. I'm letting it go. I'm letting you go.
Lots of swearing.
I'm rattled up right now.
Yeah, I think this is a very unique situation.
This is like I feel like this is why Madison didn't want to tell anybody Andrew's name before he was born. Maybe.
Why?
I don't know. But she was saying
the 2 siblings that aren't having kids.
She's like lots of other people in her life or something like that.
Okay.
There's more than just us. But like, Madison did not want to tell anybody the name that they decided on until he was born. I like that plan now. At first, I was like, Madison, just tell us. I want to know. I'm not going to judge. Just tell me. I want to know. But now I'm like, maybe everybody should do that. And you could avoid these situations.
I feel like most people have some consideration for the people that they love.
Right?
To not
everybody in your family is an utter piece of shit human being. Yeah. So, yeah, I would definitely not want to. And, yeah.
How I would handle it, I would still go to the wedding. But I would also name my child
100%.
Isla Grace. Like,
what?
You are not going to prevent me from doing that.
Like, hold on. Are my parents about to... her parents are probably going to tell her, oh, you can't name your kid that anymore.
Yeah, it seems like they're on the sister side.
This is disgusting.
Yeah. I would... Actually, yeah, it depends. Like, are you feeling hatred for just your sister or everyone who has her sister's back? Because that could also be a reason why she doesn't want to go to the wedding.
I'd be hatred on everybody who is on the same side.
That's true.
It's like, why would I want to go to the wedding and sit at the table with my parents who I am currently angry at my sister? It's like, you are literally causing a drama out of nothing. So it's like, I definitely don't want to be at that wedding. Yes, you're kind of an asshole for not going to your sister's wedding, but... your sister caused this and caused it to her to be an asshole.
Yeah. Top comment. Is this a joke? She hasn't stolen anything because she doesn't have a child.
Exactly.
Use the freaking name.
Yeah.
Yep. Another comment. I mean, not the asshole for not attending, but if you're already pregnant with a baby girl, why don't you just use her name as Isla Grace anyways? I mean, I'm not trying to downplay your feelings, but she's not pregnant and you are. You'll be able to use the name... and she won't. Once again, not downplaying your feelings here, but honestly, you can still name your child the name you chose.
Exactly.
And this had to come... This would be a thought.
This would be like Madison told us that she's going to name him Andrew, and then we were like, oh my God, we love that. And 2 weeks later, we come back, and we're like, hey, guys, we just want to let you know, in the future, if we ever have a baby, we're going to name it Andrew. Do you guys love us? Isn't that a great idea? We're amazing, aren't we? Oh my God, you guys not love that?
And that would be like your dad and Kat like having our side.
Right?
Like what? So absurd.
Delusions everywhere. Yeah. We're in a different... This is not reality.
That girl's not in reality, but...
Craziness.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I would still name my kid after it. And then 3 years go by, 5 years go by. She's finally going to be wanting to have a kid, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not cutting ties to the family, she's finally going to want to be having ties. She may keep the same name or she may change it. Either way, I have my plan set. She says she's keeping the name. Okay, perfect. Guess what, guys? And the next time we have another baby in the future, we're going to name it the same thing. So we're going to have 3 kids with all the same names. I'll outmatch you, though. I'll have 2 and you only have 1. Or whatever she changes the name to, that's a great name. I'm going to name my next child that name, too.
Yeah.
Play the same game. Be petty.
Exactly. Match their energy.
Match that energy.
All right.
We're going to keep trucking along. We're going to keep it on the same theme.
Okay.
I have another wedding one. Do you have a wedding one?
I do. I have another wedding one.
4 wedding ones. Boom, 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 boom.
All right. Perfect.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Am I the asshole for not wanting my sister at my wedding since she is in a wheelchair and will take up all the spotlight?
What? Why are you laughing? This episode should be called Delusion. People are delusional. Oh my!
I'm laughing.
This was like the one from the last episode with Alex about the people kicking the waitress out
because she was pretty.
Oh
Taking
my
up
God.
too much attention.
No. There's no way I can see this not being.
Before we get into the story, I'm just like, I'm in a wheelchair. It's somebody's wedding. And they're like, I'm sorry. You're not allowed to come because you're in a wheelchair. Isn't that discrimination?
100% it's discrimination.
Right? Like, that'd be like if the wedding venue didn't have wheelchair accessible ramps. No,
This is way worse.
You're in a wheelchair. You're not allowed in our facility. No, you're in a wheelchair, cousin. I don't want you. I don't want to hear your wheels squeaking on the dance floor.
That's so fucking mean.
What if you accidentally fall out of your wheelchair at the same time of the ceremony, and then people go to help you up? No,
That would be terrible. Can't have anybody looking at other people besides me on my wedding day. Why are you laughing so much?
I'm just trying to envision, like, oh.
That's wild. I don't see how this one could be. Sometimes it's okay to be the asshole.
Oh, just wait.
Okay.
Got twists and turns up ahead on the road.
I'm ready.
It's a curvy road up the hill. My sister, 26, has been on and off out of the hospital. I'm going to call my sister Anna. Anna got cancer when she was 15, and she was able to beat it. Ever since then, she has been having growths, and anytime one appears, we are worried about the cancer coming back. My issue is that she always makes these announcements that she needs to go to the doctors again at the worst times. At the beginning, I thought it was just bad timing, but it has happened so many times whenever I hit a milestone. My graduation, my birthdays, my engagement party. Anytime she makes an announcement she needs to go back to the hospital, my whole family will flock with her. I have had my birthday dinner turned into my relatives flocking to her for the whole night. I had my dinner party to announce my wedding date for my relatives. It was growing great, and it was a fun time until Anna told my mom that she needs to go back to the hospital. Soon, everyone forgot about the reason for the dinner party, and it was quiet. My aunt even stepped in to do a prayer for Anna. Another event was taken over. So I went low contact with her after that. She was invited to the wedding, and it is in 2 weeks. I learned today she is in an on and off in a wheelchair from my mom/Hannah. She will need to take it just in case for the wedding. I asked if the rest of the family was informed, and she told me no. I told both of them they need to inform them. They told me they don't want to worry them and won't do that. I had enough and told her you need to tell before my wedding, and again a no. I then informed them that Anna is not invited. This started a huge argument about how I'm a dick, and my point is that I'm sick of her stealing the spotlight, and that's what will happen if she rolls in with a wheelchair. Am I the asshole?
I'm confused, I think. Sorry.
Okay, so Anna is not permanently in a wheelchair.
Okay, but she is temporarily?
They have a wheelchair because she's kind of on and off the wheelchair depending on her strength, I guess, from being in the hospital, not being in the hospital.
Okay. Is she saying if you're in a wheelchair, you can't come?
She's saying that she needs to tell all of her family that she might be in a wheelchair before the wedding, so that they are not surprised and flock to her at the wedding when she rolls up in a wheelchair.
Oh.
Because if I'm at an event and one of my cousins or something shows up in a wheelchair, I'm going to be going over to them immediately, and I would think that I would be flocking to them to be like, why are you in a wheelchair? Are you okay? Are you dying on us?
Okay, yes. But I think she's an asshole. I don't like, okay, that's not going to really take away from your day though.
I think OP might be a guy. Because it says they're calling about how I'm a dick. So I think OP is a guy.
Maybe. Okay, regardless. I don't think it's going to take that much away from you.
What if she, like, Anna already, like, soaks it up any opportunity she can get the attention on her? And now she's got
wedding. Like,
now
you're
she's
gonna
got
be...
now she's got a wheelchair prop.
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards just asshole here.
This one was voted not the asshole.
Interesting. Okay.
Top comment. You need to sit down with your parents privately and in person if possible. Explain calmly that you love your sister, but that she is using her health situation to hijack every event in your life. Give the examples you gave us and every single example you can recall. Explain that, like them, you are concerned about her health, but you would like your wedding day to focus on you and your fiancé. This is extremely important to you, and you are asking them not just to comply, but to back you up on this. Explain that you have asked her to inform everyone of her wheelchair use, and she refused. You asked her not to make this day about her, and she is signaling that she will not honor your request. After trying to come to a compromise, you and your fiance have decided that she cannot stop herself from springing this and continuing to demand everyone's attention in an inappropriate time, i.e. your wedding, that it is best that she does not attend. It has been 11 years. Her situation is sad, but it's obvious that she's leveraged it and continues to manipulate everyone. You're not the asshole.
I disagree. And I don't know if that's going to be a popular opinion or not, but I feel like if it's because of the wheelchair that he doesn't want her there, that's an asshole reason. If it's because he truly doesn't care for her, like he doesn't want a relationship with her, that's a different reason, and that's fine. Like you are totally, you're not obligated to invite her if you don't want to for personal reasons. But I feel like if it's literally because she's going to be in a wheelchair and once again stealing your spotlight, for me, I just don't think that that's going to be spotlight stealing. Like, I don't know. Like, what are they going to do? Like, they're in a wedding environment. Like, people are still going to dance. People are still going to eat. They're still going to mingle with other people. Like, it's not just going to be her in a wheelchair and everybody. Like, okay, maybe, like, she'll have some comments. People come up to her and stuff and, like, ask her and be concerned about her health. But, like...
But realistically, the wedding is a big place.
Yeah,
so like you roll up to the wedding. You're not rolling up when the ceremony starts, right? You arrive a little bit early. Everybody meets and greets and they chat and then they take their seats, right?
Yeah.
Wedding?
Yeah.
So she shows up. She's in a wheelchair. Aunts and uncles, whatever. They go to her like, oh my God, why are you in a wheelchair? Okay, everybody talks to her and stuff like that. And then it's like, hey guys, ceremony starting. Everybody take your seats. Everybody goes and takes their seats.
It's over.
It's not like they're going to continue to be like, oh, you're in a wheelchair, fuck the ceremony, like I'm going to go talk to her, right? Ceremony's going to go off without a hitch, unless you have a feeling that she's going to like stand up in the middle of the ceremony. Okay, if you think that she's going to do that, if you think she's going to go that far, sure. I don't want you there because I think no matter what is happening with you, you can't even control it for the ceremony of the wedding. Okay. Yeah. And then you go into the reception. Everybody meets and greets, they mingles. The people that didn't talk to her about her being in a wheelchair before, now they're like, hey, why are you in a wheelchair? I didn't get asked before the ceremony. Whatever. And then everybody takes a seat. And then we have the speeches. So same thing like the ceremony. I
feel like this could be equivalent to like a newly pregnant person or something.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, would you not want someone pregnant come to your wedding because people are going to ask them like questions about their pregnancy and stuff? Like, I just think it's weird. I don't know.
So that you go into the reception, and unless she thinks she's going to speak up during the speeches, she stays quiet, she eats, does the speeches, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then it's the dance time. Anybody who hasn't asked her yet can go talk to her at the dancing, just like any other person at a wedding. So I on your side, I don't really see where the big deal is. Yeah. But I think he's kind of an asshole. But this was voted not the asshole. So that's where I'm kind of like, does this fit the category of sometimes it's okay to be the asshole? Am I not understanding something here?
Right?
What am I missing?
What am I missing?
What am I missing?
Like, do you guys agree with us or no? Because are we just toxic? Like, what?
So there's an edit, and the edit says, I'm going to do a mass email blast to all my relatives saying she's in a wheelchair and unsure if she will be able to make it to my wedding. Keep my sister in their thoughts and prayers. I'm getting ahead of this.
I also feel like that's an asshole move. Like, that's not your information to share.
Right?
Like, I don't know.
And it seems like maybe they're bringing the wheelchair, but they're going to leave it in the car unless she feels like she can't stand up anymore.
Oh, is that even the case?
Well, that's what they kind of said. I learned today that she is in an on and off in a wheelchair from my mom and Anna.
I feel like that just means like maybe a week.
Oh, okay. I thought that meant like, hey, we have a wheelchair because I'm not sure how my strength will be during the day. And like, I might be good in the, but like later on, I might need to just sit in a wheelchair to move around because I won't have the energy to walk around. Right. Maybe. But maybe he thinks that she doesn't need the wheelchair and she's just going to milk it for attention. But even then, if somebody needs a wheelchair, they need a wheelchair.
What if it was your grandmother who needs a wheelchair?
Graham's not allowed at the wedding. Sorry, Graham, come back when you're not so old and fragile. Like, I don't know.
I was right at the beginning. I don't see how this is a not the asshole situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm shocked. Reddit shocks me sometimes with the votes.
It's a not the asshole vote. Very very confusing.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah. Okay. On to you. Before we get to you, I just want to give you guys a little note. If any of you guys are new, we do keep all of the links to all of the Reddit stories in the description down below. So if you want to check out there for a little bit more information, more comments from OP, or if there's any updates or anything like that, feel free to just click those links down below. And you can also check out other stuff. Like you'll see a link to our sponsors for the episode. And you also see a link to recent travel YouTube videos that we finished. Like I recently finished our Italy travel video. So if you guys are not new and you've been following for a while, you know that we went to Italy back for EP35. So if you want to see the behind the scenes from that week, video's now live. Head over to YouTube, smash the like button, please, and subscribe to our travel channel and help that channel out.
Also, we have our bonus episodes on Patreon every week. So if you guys have binged and you're out of stories, out of episodes now, head over to Patreon for some more episodes.
All right, let's get back to the regular stories.
All right, on theme with the wedding. This is my last wedding one.
I got no more wedding ones, guys. So if you're sick and tired of the wedding ones, I got no more.
Same. Except this one. Am I the asshole for canceling my brother's wedding venue reservation after he uninvited me? So, I, 37 male, have a younger brother, Tom, 26 male, who's getting married in 3 months. A year ago, when he and his fiancée were planning their wedding, they were struggling to find an affordable venue. I own a vacation property with a large yard that's been used for a couple of small weddings before, so I offered it to him as a wedding venue, rent-free. My only condition was that I wanted to be a part of the wedding party, which he agreed to. Everything seemed fine. Last week, Tom and I got into a small argument. It really wasn't a big deal, but a couple of days later, he texted me and said he and his fiancée decided to downsize their wedding party, and I was no longer going to be a groomsman. I was shocked because I thought this was set in stone a year ago. I called him to ask what was going on, and he said it wasn't personal, just that they wanted to keep things small and intimate, and didn't feel like they needed me in the wedding party. I was pretty hurt, but I didn't say anything at the time. Then it occurred to me. If I'm not important enough to be in his wedding party, why should I host the wedding at my place? So I called him again and told him that since I wasn't going to be a part of the wedding, they need to find another venue. Now, Tom and his fiancée are furious. They say they can't afford another venue at this point and that I'm ruining their big day. My parents are also upset and say I should just let it go and still host the wedding. I feel like I was doing them a huge favor, and they essentially uninvited me from being part of the most important day of their lives. I don't think I'm wrong to retract my offer, but now everyone's making me feel guilty. So am I the asshole for canceling the venue?
Yeah. I think so.
But is it okay?
I don't know on this one, babe.
Yeah, I know. This one's a little difficult.
Okay, here's my thing. I don't... Like, why was the condition that, hey, you can use my rental property if I can be part of the wedding party? I just don't think...
It's a weird condition.
I don't think that's a fair condition to put on your brother.
It's a little manipulative.
It's manipulative. If you are family and you want to rent it to them for free, that... Cool, you do that for them. But I don't think he had any right to demand that I get to be a groomsman because I'm going to give you my place. If you feel like I'm one of the closest people in your life and you want to make me the groomsman, amazing. But your family, this is what I'm willing to do for you. This is what I'm willing to do for you either way with no expectation of return. I am giving without expecting a return, but he is giving with the expectation of I got to be a part of the wedding, which I just don't like that. I'm not on board with that part.
It is odd, but OP's brother agreed to it. He knew the conditions when he agreed to use the venue.
Yes.
So, like, he was well aware that this is what OP wanted.
So... Yeah. Okay. I don't agree with the first part. I don't agree about how this whole situation came about. I think he should have gave it. I think he should, if he wanted to give it, I don't think he should have had to give it to him and give up profit. If he wanted to do that, he should have done that out of his own volition or whatever and will. That being said, moving on. We've already established that. I guess it's okay to be the asshole to cancel it when he's removing you from the groomsmen. I don't agree with the first part, but we're moving past me not agreeing, and now we're looking at this in a vacuum. I guess you are an asshole, but I think it's okay for you to be the asshole you made a deal, and that was the thing of the deal, and they took it out. They took you out. They knew the consequences, potential could be consequences, and they still chose to say, hey, we don't want you as a groomsman anymore. We just want to shrink the party. Bro, you're getting a free wedding venue, and you knew the price for that wedding venue was that your older brother that you're not that close with wants to be a groomsman, so you work your plans around it. You find one. It's one person, one's groomman. That means you need to find one extra bridesmaid.
Well, it sounded like they had X amount of bridesmaids. Like they had everyone, but now they're downsizing.
Right? So you don't have an option to downsize.
Yeah.
That is not in your options. That is not in your wedding planning options to downsize. You have to have it X amount of people. Technically, you could have just make him your best man. Obviously, you have your other friends there for that and stuff. So also another 11-year age gap between siblings here, 37 to 26.
Oh, wow.
That's like one of the other stories. So
I don't really pay attention to that stuff.
Well, that's important for me to have an understanding, right? So he's the older brother. So when he was 18, his sibling would have been 7.
Yeah.
Right? So he was like at the age of moving out of the house when you're kind of at like the second stage of important sibling bonding, right? Like I feel like you have like 3 to 6 or 7 is like that young, we're playing with each other, but I'm not really remembering any of this stuff. And then 7 through like 13 is like a lot of core memories are built of like doing stuff together. And then 13 to 18 is kind of like that teenager rebellion stage. How much crazy stuff did we get up to, and then how close the bonding was. Their age gap of 11 years is at the point where like he's 18, he's probably like kind of moving off to school, getting out of high school, or even like 15 and the kid is like 6. They're not really hanging out. They're not at a close age where they're hanging out. He's just older brother. He might as well be like an uncle to this kid because there's such an age gap for them. They're not really siblings. So that's where I'm like, they're obviously not that close where he had to like use this to his advantage to like force himself to be a groomsman.
I see what you're saying. I was like, where are you going with this?
Like he had to like
yes, okay.
They're not that close.
They're not that close.
He wouldn't have been a groomsman without giving him his venue.
Yeah.
Which I still think that was
icky. What it reminds me of Gilmore Girls.
Why?
The grandparents giving them money, but you have to come every Friday for dinner.
Friday, yeah.
Every time they make that deal, I'm like, this is so manipulative. Like, if you want to give them the money, just give them the money. Like,
I think it's a little bit different because I can understand that one where the mom wants the relationship with her daughter. She doesn't know how to be a good mom, but she wants to be she wants to have a relationship with Lorelai. We saw in the flashbacks that like after Lorelai had Rory, that she just like left one day and the mom came downstairs and she's like, where the hell is she? She's gone. She just left home. So she's like, my daughter left me. She used what she had to her advantage to get her to come back. She's like, I just want to spend time with you. The only way I can get that is because you need money from me. Fine, whatever. I don't like it, but I'm going to use that to my advantage to get to spend time with you. Because at the end of the day, yeah, she's a shitty mom, but I feel like her heart's in the right place because what she wants is a relationship. This guy doesn't want a relationship. This guy just wants to be part of the event.
That's fair. That's fair. Yep. We're on season 4 of Gilmore Girls, so don't ruin anything for us. But,
just start season 4 today.
We're in our fall era.
It's good. One thing that's so funny about Gilmore Girls is like, I feel like this show sets a false sense of expectation that you can eat the worst food ever whenever you want for every single meal and that you will stay skinny like them, because I'm like, that's not reality. And then they make a joke. And then they make a joke out of it. One of the lines of the grandparents was like, how do you keep that figure and when you guys eat all the junk that you do? TV magic. That's how, because they're not actually eating all of that shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just jealous right now because I can't eat everything that I used to be able to eat.
You're projecting.
I am projecting.
Okay, so there are a couple edits and updates that I have not read. So, live reaction here, folks. Edit. This blew up way more than I thought. I checked my messages after work today and holy crap. To answer a few questions I'm seeing repeatedly. 1. Why did I need to offer to loan out my vacation house to be in the wedding? My brother and I have had a little bit of a rocky relationship most of his life. Our age difference has always been an awkward amount, and I think he's jealous of my success in life too. He's done okay, but I've climbed the corporate ladder pretty quickly in finance, and I think a lot of girls he's dated have had crushes on me, being his older brother, and the more successful one, and that bothers him. He picks small things to get mad at me about because of his jealousy, and I felt like if I made it a condition of lending out my place, he would let me be in his wedding.
This dude's fucked. This dude is a narcissist. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's jealous of my big old success over here. Bro, he probably doesn't give a fuck about how much money you make. And his girlfriends have been attracted to me. He's jealous that they're attracted to me. Bro, you're 11 years older. That means that when he was 18, you were 29. Like, you're gross. That means that you thought his girlfriends were attractive. You are gross, bro.
Okay.
I had to force my way in because we've had a rocky relationship.
Okay, let's just keep going. Number 2. What did you get into an argument about? He got upset at me because he thinks I don't do enough with our parents, but I travel for my job, so it's harder for me to be there in person. I also help them out financially, which he never considers as helping out. They haven't saved as much as they probably should have and are getting older to retirement, so I help them out with some bills so they can put more in their 401k accounts, but I guess that isn't enough. He always finds something to say I'm doing wrong. Number 3. Are you still invited to the wedding? Technically, he only said I'm not in the wedding party, but it feels like such a slap in the face at this point, and it definitely feels like he doesn't want me there. I'll try to talk to him again to see what the real issue is, because downsizing seems like bullshit to me.
This dude's twisted. I'm sorry that he is so like financially driven and he thinks money is everything. And this kid's like, you're never here to help our parents.
Yeah.
And this kid is thinking, like his younger brother is thinking in terms of like repairs on the house, mowing the lawn, painting, you know, physical things. And this dude's like, well, I send you a check. That's helping.
Yeah.
He's in finance. So all he thinks is in dollar signs.
Bro.
He's a finance bro. All he thinks is money.
Yeah. So this was originally posted on Am I the Asshole, but I'm reading it off of Best of Reddit updates. So the overall vote, the majority was not the asshole, with a few you're the assholes, and everyone sucks here.
Yeah, I am definitely on the you're the asshole side. I think he was the asshole to force his way into that situation in the first place after being a shitty brother.
Overall vote was not the asshole, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's overall vote's not the asshole because it's his place and whatever and stuff. And like, yeah, in a vacuum, kind of not the asshole. But I think in a broader sense, he's been an asshole his whole life.
Okay, update. I was having a hard time believing my brother when he told me they were downsizing the wedding party just to make it more intimate. But that's all he kept saying when I would ask for the real reason. In all honesty, my brother and I aren't that close, which I'm sure is obvious from my last post. After my emotions settled down a bit, I told my brother I wanted to talk to him. He wasn't responding to me, so I said I wanted to talk to him about potentially letting them still use my vacation house. Not totally the truth, but it seemed like a good way to get him to talk. He finally responded, but said I couldn't come over. He would only meet me somewhere public, which seemed weird. We ended up meeting at a bar late last night that I like near my place, and I straight up just asked him why he was really kicking me out of his wedding party, and I would only consider letting them use my vacation home if he told me the truth. He was getting pretty fidgety and looking away from me and finally told me the truth. Apparently his fiancée heard that I may do a bit of cocaine here and there for fun, so she told him that she didn't want a crackhead in her wedding. He said he actually kind of agreed with her and was disappointed in what I was doing. I told him if I'm too much of a crackhead to be there, then they really shouldn't want to use a crackhead's house for their wedding, and I left. I don't really see how it impacts them, what I do in my free time, but I really don't care to be there now, if that's what they think of me. I haven't said a word to him since, but I'm guessing I won't be hearing from him again soon.
Oh. Well, I hope they've already made other plans. Because yeah, I mean, if somebody said, because you smoke weed, we don't want you in the wedding party. I mean, it's kind of similar. Coke is like once. Okay, the drugs are like, there's definitely a different subject for everyone. And snorting lines of cocaine once in a while is definitely different from I'm always grailing lines. And it's kind of funny. Kind of fits that finance bro.
Right?
That finance bro.
I don't think it's once in a while,
I don't think so. Kind of fits that stereotype. I feel like there is a bit of a difference, though, between like railing lines of cocaine and like putting needles in your arm and smoking crack and smoking like a crack pipe and stuff. I feel like from bad to worse, because cocaine is just above weed, and then there's a bunch of worse shit that are worse of it. So
it depends.
I don't know.
I feel like
it depends on how much. I would be like,
if you're going to be cracked at my wedding, no, you're not going to be at the wedding party. Sorry.
Well, I don't think people who do cocaine are called crackheads. So on that,
what do I know?
Yeah, on that terminology, I'd be like, I would be insulted being called a crackhead because I do cocaine once in a while.
Yeah.
I would not be happy with that. And that sounds like it's coming from somebody who doesn't do any drugs at all, who's calling someone a crackhead, because cocaine is not crack. So yeah, there's that. And you just be depending how much. It's like at a wedding too, it's like, yeah, I don't want people who are going to be in the wedding party getting ready room who's railing lines of coke. Like I don't want cocaine lines on the table and stuff like that. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
But I think their terminology and stuff is they have not as understanding of cocaine as that. So,
well, neither did I.
I just think he's an asshole. I do. I just think he's an asshole for everything. The way he talks and everything. I just think he's been an asshole for his brother's entire childhood, and there's a reason they're not close. And I think the reason that they're not close is not because of the age gap necessarily, but because he's an asshole.
Okay, there's an edit. To answer some consistent questions and comments, quote unquote, oh, you must be a drug addict. I do coke maybe a handful of times a year recreationally with some people that I party with. Obviously, this gossip traveled through the grapevine where circles overlapped and got to them somehow. I wasn't discovered because I'm an addict. Like some have said, it's more common than you think. You'd be surprised who does it.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Very common. You'd be surprised who does that. So there's two things. Did you hear that he does cocaine? Or have you like come over to his house on like a Saturday afternoon when you were just supposed to pick up a package and he's by himself and there's lines on his table?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
There's a big difference because if I come over to someone's house and they're chilling by themselves and they're just doing lines of coke on a Wednesday afternoon, and I'd be like, what the heck? But if they're like, it's a couple times a year. It's when I go to an event, like if I go to a wedding party or like I go to like
a wedding party?
Not being in the wedding party. If you go to a party like a wedding,
no,
is what I meant.
That's not. No, I disagree. But whatever.
Well, I disagree. I agree with your disagreement. I just mean like an event, a party, a big thing. Okay. Like you're not a family wedding. Like you're going to a bro's wedding. Like it's the bro. Like you're
still family around.
No, like not your family. Like if I'm going to like my bro's wedding and all the 7 bros, I can see the.
But there's still family around. That might not be yours.
Right. They're yeah, but
that's not the event.
I don't think it's appropriate, but I can see that. Okay. Or like other kinds of events. You're going out once in a while, a couple things. The deal breaker, the difference for me is like, okay, if you do coke once in a while, that's your fun recreational drug, whatever. You do Molly or ecstasy once in a while when you go to raves, cool, that's whatever, you do you. I come over on a Wednesday and your place is just a mess and there's coke lines everywhere. No thanks.
Number 2. You must have a drug problem for them to react that way about it. My brother's fiance comes from a very religious and conservative family. They think anyone who does a hard drug must be a degenerate and is going to hell. That's the funny part about her calling me a crackhead. Crack is whack. She clearly doesn't understand coke is different, but I'm not going to go on a mission to educate her. It would be wasted effort on my part. You could be successful in life and recreationally use drugs. The two aren't mutually exclusive. Honestly, pretty much anyone I know that does coke has plenty of money and a great job, or they married someone rich / inherited money. He just sounds so cocky.
Yeah, but they have to because cocaine is expensive as shit. True. It's so expensive. Like when I was like 19 or 20 or something, I the guys from high school were like hanging out. I went and like one of them had it, and then they told me how much money they spent on it, and I'm like, are you fucking mental?
How much?
Oh, it was like $1,000 for like one night's worth for like 5 people or something like that. Like enough for like a group of people for like one night would be like $1,000. Like enough for you for one night is like $200-300 or something like that.
That's wild.
And I'm just like, I could buy weed for like $10 for a gram and I'm good for the whole night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you spend that much money on it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So no, everybody that does it has to have a lot of money, yes. And I do agree with him on the part where like, if you don't have any experience with, that's why I was like, she called him a crackhead. And I'm like, he's not sounding like a crackhead. He's sounding like a finance bro.
Yeah.
So I can understand this.
Yeah.
I hope the younger brother had completely moved on from that wedding venue when he admitted to his older brother that his fiance thinks he's a crackhead. Right. Because if you can't filter your spouse's words to your family, you got a problem, man. Like if you can't filter out when you know your fiance has this opinion and your brother, you did throw her under the bus and you filter it, like you could have come up with another reason. And so it's like he on a general scope, this dude's an asshole. In the vacuum of the situation of removing the party from it, no, he's not the asshole. And he's not the asshole because the deal was made with the devil, and you should have been understanding that. And you took him out as a groomsman because you think he's a crackhead, not because you actually wanted to downsize the party. So you were lying. So
all right, final comments. Well, after scrolling through a decent amount of comments, I've come to the conclusion that I'm obviously a terrible douchebag with an enormous drug problem that only thinks about myself and is extremely conceited.
Well, I would agree with all of those, but I don't want to tell you how big your drug problem is, because if you're saying to me that's only a few times a year, then I don't think you have a drug problem. I just think you're an asshole.
Some parts of that may be true, but I do care about my family and try to help my parents in the way that I know how. For those of you that are familiar with Fight Club, I am a single-serving friend kind of person. I don't really get close with many people, and I have a hard time staying in one place. That's why I have a job where I need to travel all the time. I like the variety and the challenge of it. Settling down, having kids, all that makes me super uncomfortable. Obviously, I'd be a terrible father, so there's no way I'll have kids. Snip, snip.
Yeah, okay.
What does snip, snip mean?
Vasectomy.
Oh, okay. Sorry, there's more. My brother is a settle down kind of guy, and thinking about it, that's probably why he doesn't like me. I wanted to be a groomsman for him because I wanted to be a part of something in his life, but in a capacity I can handle. One last note, I've got awesome parents that love me for who I am, and they know I love them, even if I'm not around a ton. They worked super hard to raise us and give us everything we needed when they came from a poorer background. I help them how I can. Not everyone shows they care in the same way you do, so chill out and don't think I'm an ass because my way of caring is mostly financial. Peace out, friends.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, he, low-key, is an asshole. Obviously, your parents love you. Parents give kids their unconditional love unless you turn to be a freaking serial killer. And then even most cases, like, they still got your back unless you're trying to kill them. But you're kind of an asshole. And I think you were an asshole when you decided to give your brother the place on the condition that you had to be during the wedding party. If you truly wanted to do something for your brother, you would have just let him have it. But you have a sense of a narcissistic sense in your brain where you needed to get something out of doing something good. Mm-hmm. You needed to get that out of giving him the venue. You couldn't just give him the venue with nothing. Bro, you already would have been a part of the wedding. It would have been your venue. That would have been, even if you weren't a groomsman, like, you would have been more in the wedding than anybody else because it's your venue. Anytime somebody needs something, you're there to help out. You would have been dead center in the wedding.
Right.
Without being a groomsman. You put that priority there and you ruined it for yourself.
Fair enough.
You didn't. If you truly wanted to do something for your family, you would have done it unconditionally.
Yeah, I agree.
You wanted to get something out of it. You used your finance bro, your finances, your vacation rental property to your advantage to try and get something out of it. Yeah, you're an asshole.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. Said asshole so many times.
I know.
Well, let's lighten up the mood a little bit over here.
All right.
Am I the asshole for wearing the joke bikini my friend got me? So, it was my birthday a couple months ago. I had a party and I got some gifts. My friend Mandy got me a super cute bikini. I liked it. I said thanks. She had ripped the tags off, but whatever. Anyway, went to the community pool with my roommate, wore said bikini, got in the water. Roommate immediately was like, girl, I look and I see that this bikini is now kind of see-through. Haha, Good joke, Mandy. Anyway, Mandy invited me over to her place to hang out with her and her boyfriend and a few others. Most leave and we're still hanging out. I'm like, hey, what if we got in your hot tub? And we go change. I meet her boyfriend in the hot tub while she's getting new drinks. I hop in. Immediately, he's looking at my chest. I pretend I don't notice and just make a small talk. She comes out a few minutes after and just looks in shock. Eventually, she gets in the hot tub. Oh, is that the one that I bought you? Yeah, I love it, Mandy. I wear it everywhere. I make up some stuff about how I wore it to the beach, some parties with a lot of guys, etc. And she's just like, oh. We're in the tub for about 20 to 30 minutes. Eventually we get out and change. She approaches me after and was like, I'm sorry, but I thought you'd notice, but it's kind of see-through. I'm like, yeah, I know. Why'd you buy me a fucking see-through bathing suit? And she was like, it was a joke. Wait, you knew? So then you just spent the last 30 minutes flashing my boyfriend on purpose? And I reply, I'm just wearing my birthday gift from her. Anyway, am I the asshole?
I like this episode. This one's tough. We had actually a comment or someone messaged us like last week saying to read more stories that aren't so clear cut. Yes, you're the asshole. No, you're not the asshole. I feel like this is a really good episode for that.
Here you go. Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. Obviously the friend was giving it to her as a joke. So I think like, yes. I don't really understand if OP is mad about it. Like, is she mad? And she's like trying to like, I don't know, have like this karmic revenge thing. Like, okay, you got it for me, so now I'm going to show it in front of your boyfriend. Like, is she mad or is she trying to play another joke? Like, I don't really understand it.
I don't know. And like, what kind of joke is that?
From who? OP or the friend?
From the friend. What kind of joke is that?
I don't know. I could see it as kind of being a funny... Well, not really. Like, actually, I would be pissed. If I was, like, on vacation or something and I brought this to Italy, for example, like, and we went into the beach, I would be pissed.
I can see how it could be a joke under the right circumstances.
Like, if you're getting into the pool with your friend right now. Like, if you were given this gift and you had, like, a pool date planned with your friends...
Yeah.
And you
like
knew.
Girls'
like,
day.
Yes.
Girls' night. College trip with the girls.
Yeah.
And they're like, I got you this gift.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I don't have a bathing suit. Can I borrow yours? And you're like, ooh, I have the perfect bathing suit for you.
Yes. I agree. But, like, that's to, like, the farthest extent I would go.
But
no.
She gave it to her as a gift.
Yeah.
And then left and said goodbye. So that the time that she would wear it, she had no idea what kind of situation, where she would be. Was she going to be in front of little kids? Was she going to be in public, in front of her grandma? No idea where she would wear that bathing suit.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, in the right situation, the bathing suit could be a joke. Like, have you seen those videos of the dissolving bathing suits?
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. I watched a TikTok the other day where it was like a cottage weekend. And with like a bunch of couples, there's like 5 couples, and all the wives bought all their husbands the exact same bathing suits. So they all came out with the bathing suits, and at first they were all dying laughing because they're all matching. They're all the same bathing suit, and they thought it was a matching prank.
Yeah.
And then they all went into the hot tub at nighttime. All of them in the hot tub, and then all the guys are like, "What the fuck is happening?" And all their bathing suits were dissolving, and then all the girls were dying laughing.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's in the right situation.
Yeah.
If they had given their husbands dissolving underwear, then took them out of the public pool.
That's not funny.
That's not funny.
No.
That's not the right environment.
I agree. I agree.
So this one where
yes,
she's like getting payback, it's like you're kind of the asshole.
Yeah.
You knew you're flashing or showing the nips and the titties basically through the fabric to her boyfriend the whole time.
Yeah.
You're kind of an asshole.
Yeah, I think so.
But I feel like...
But it's okay.
It's
I think it's okay because...
I feel like that's the rightful karma that was deserved there.
Yeah.
A little bit of revenge.
I agree.
I feel like... I don't know. I feel like they're decent friends. Like, she was the last one hanging out there with her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they're decent friends. So, I don't know. Might not be decent friends anymore.
And it could just be, like, both of them are playing a joke and nobody is angry here. I don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah, top comment. Not the asshole. Well played. You deserve an award, but I'm broke. So here's an emoji instead. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Right?
All right. Moving on?
Moving on.
Moving on.
Back to you.
Am I the asshole for getting it elsewhere since my wife didn't want to have sex anymore?
Yes.
A few months ago, I posted for relationship advice on another sub. Basically, my wife has decided unilaterally that we are done having sex. She found out that she cannot have kids due to a choice she made before we met. And kids apparently are the only reason she was willing to have sex. I love my wife and I enjoy being intimate with her, but it was making our marriage untenable for about 2 years of this. So I posted for advice. I got a lot of great support and suggestions about how to talk to my wife. I tried a lot of it. I started going for counseling for myself as well. But no matter how I approached her about our situation, she would not try and see it from my point of view. Every discussion would end up with her crying and screaming in my face and that I'm trying to emotionally manipulate her. I then wrote her a letter outlining my feelings and asking her to come with me for counseling, to seek it for herself, perhaps to go see a doctor. I was kind and loving in the letter. The last thing I wanted to do was set her off. I worked on the wording with my counselor to make sure I wasn't saying anything aggressive that could be misinterpreted. She read the letter. Then she scrawled across it with her red Sharpie. "Go get it elsewhere because you are not getting it from me." Then she walked out. I sat there for about an hour doing nothing. Then I told myself that was what I was going to do. We are both fairly successful in our jobs. I'm not super attractive, but I'm fit and a good talker. It took a while, but I met someone. We started out as just friends, but it became physical. I made sure she knew I was married. She is not interested in a relationship, so I guess I'm a safe option for her. My wife found out because I did not try to hide it. She was crying when I got home one night. When I came in, she asked if I was going to leave her. I said no. She asked if I was cheating on her, and I said I was getting sex elsewhere. She said that was cheating, and I did not disagree. I asked her what she wanted to do. She said I had to stop. I asked her if we were going to start having sex. She said I was an irrational asshole if I thought she would have sex with me after I cheated. I went to my desk and pulled out a photocopy of the letter I wrote her with her answer on it. I went to have a shower and go to my room for sleep. When I woke up, she was sitting on the couch waiting to talk. She said that she reread the letter and that she realized she had not before. She assumed it was just a letter begging for sex. She said she would go for counseling alone and with me. All I had to do was stop having sex elsewhere. I said I would be willing to pause my friendship until we saw a counselor, and that if I saw progress in our relationship, I would break it off. She said she would not agree to counseling without me leaving the other woman. It almost turned into a fight, so I just went for my run. Before I left, I asked her what would compel her to go to counseling if I stopped having sex elsewhere. When I got back, she still did not have an answer. She couldn't even say that our relationship was worth saving. I don't want a divorce, but I'm willing to leave her over this. I am 28, and I'm not going the rest of my life without sex. She refuses to see my side.
Whoa. Come on, bro. I didn't actually think they meant she could go sleep with somebody else just because you wrote on a piece of paper, did you? But that's brutal.
Yeah. It's, I don't know.
I feel like this is more of a me thing than a you thing on this one.
Why? I like sex.
Yeah, he sounds like a guy, and I'm a guy. So? I don't know. Oh my god, I don't even know. That just sounds like a Black Mirror episode. It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I would have to have conversations with you. Or I feel like, I don't know. What would I do? I don't know.
This is difficult because I feel like sex is important.
It is very important.
Like,
and part of me is like, well, if you wanted to stop having sex with me, then like, wouldn't the right answer be divorce? And then you go have sex after you've made it clear that you want a separation and divorce, and there's the reason, and then you go off.
but he still loves her. Like, he
Right?
doesn't want to leave her.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to leave you if you stopped having sex with me. So what the fuck do I do?
Don't worry, this is not happening to us.
I'm very worried. I am concerned over here. I'm just thinking, I'm like, what if we didn't have sex? Like, I love you so much, and I wouldn't want to leave you. And like, sex isn't everything, but
it does like
something. It's a big part.
I
Of
feel
everything.
like it's important. Like,
it's not the whole cake, but it's an ingredient in the cake.
sure.
It's like the eggs in the cake.
I knew you were gonna say eggs.
It holds it together. It's an emotional connection.
No, I agree.
It's a very intimate thing.
I agree. So, do you think he's an asshole?
I kind of do.
But is it okay?
I don't know. My moral compass is confused.
Yeah. I think, like, yes, you knew what you were doing, and yes, like, you were technically given permission by your wife.
No, you weren't.
Like, but he knew what he was doing. Like,
You weren't given permission.
she did say, go find it elsewhere.
No,
Like,
that's a cop-out. That's a freaking cop-out.
okay, so you think he's just an asshole?
I think he's an asshole. Yeah. Like, bro, she wrote it on a piece of paper in anger. Like, it's a comeback. It's a fuck off.
But why was she angry?
She doesn't want to put out. I don't know. There's a difference, I feel like, from that versus like, I had a conversation and she was like, honey, I love you. I don't want to divorce you. I don't want sex right now. I understand that you have needs. If you want to go hire a hooker once a week, I'm okay with that. And then you go do that, and then she's angry at you. That's different.
I guess.
But she just wrote it on a piece of paper. That's not enough. This is too big of an issue for a little scribble on a piece of paper to be your freaking written permission.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not on board with it.
Okay.
I feel like he should have tried more for communication.
Yeah. Like, if he said, I actually need it elsewhere, otherwise, like, this relationship is going to end, like,
And I don't
then
want it to end.
that's different. And I don't want it to end. And, you know, if I do get it elsewhere, like, it's just sex. Like, it's not anything more. I still love you, and I really want it to work with us, and I understand that you don't want to have sex, but I need it. Like, I don't know.
Honestly though, it also sounds like they have bigger problems in their relationship, because it sounds like they have a lack of communication problem.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's not just sex. They're not even communicating by why they're not having sex. So I feel like there's a lack of communication going on over there.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a short update. I told my wife that I broke off my relationship with the woman I was having sex with. I did this because she said she would not agree to go counseling unless I did so. She refused to go to counseling after I told her I broke it off with my friend. She said I was her husband and that I didn't have the right to her body or to get it elsewhere. Since I lied as a test, I think you can guess I knew she was lying. We are getting divorced. She deserves to be happy with someone who is okay with no sex in the marriage, and I deserve a life. I have moved out and am moving forward with my life. Thank you all for the advice.
So I was going to say, they need a separation, they need a divorce. They don't have communication. She just flat out lied to him and stuff. Like,
They're both lying.
I'm on board with his lie. That's what I would have done too. What's the difference between cutting it off and whatnot? That's a simple text. Well, you just don't text her anymore, or then you hit her up later. Like, that's like a very flimsy, flexible situation there. Fuck buddies.
Top comment. I don't get it. If you don't want to have sex, which is important in a relationship, and you fight whenever it's brought up and won't get help for it, then when your partner reaches their breaking point, you basically tell him to seek intimacy elsewhere. Why continue being in this relationship? If she doesn't want to have sex, then that's fine. But her partner doesn't want that lifestyle, and instead of being adults discussing this, you put down their feelings, then how does she think the relationship would last? If she wanted it to work, why not seek help?
Yeah. I don't think she wanted it to work. She didn't give a fuck about him.
So then I feel like sometimes it's okay to be the asshole. I don't know. Like, I feel like this is a situation, like, he did what he had to do.
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
On to the next.
On to the next. Am I the asshole for adopting my brother's affair baby? I, 26 female, am in a long-term committed relationship with another woman, 23 female. Both of us have always known that we wanted children, and we've had a lot of discussions about just how that might happen. So, my brother Roy, 34 male, cheated on his wife, 32 female, with a younger woman, Mary, 21 female. He had been carrying on an affair with her for about 2 years. Mary says that nothing started until after she was 18, for what it's worth. However, all of this came to light when she got pregnant and came to our family. Roy wanted her to abort, but she wasn't comfortable with that, and he convinced her to go with adoption instead. Obviously, this caused major trouble in his marriage. Our family all came to know about Mary, and my partner and I actually ended up offering her a lot of support. We genuinely became friends with her as well. Mary is not in a position to be raising a child, and she's not really interested in motherhood. However, my partner has had a little baby fever, and she asked if we could be the ones to adopt Mary's kid. Our state actually makes private adoptions pretty straightforward, so we made the arrangements through an attorney. Mary was happy about this, and we told her that we'd be glad to have her in the baby's life as it fits her ability to be around. Mary gave birth to our beautiful daughter, Sabrina, and Sabrina has been living with my partner and I ever since. Legally, I am her mother. My parents have been thrilled about this because they love the idea of having their grandkid around. They've been a great help and are constantly helping us look after our daughter. Roy, however, is severely unhappy about this, to say the least. He didn't want us to adopt Sabrina, and he says that her being around at family function in everyone's lives so much is upsetting to his wife. They've reconciled more or less, and she's kind of stuck with him. She's been a stay-at-home parent since she was 20, and there are reasons why a divorce might not go well for her. But he says that Sabrina is a constant sore point. Both Roy and his wife are absolutely child-free, and his wife had literally threatened to divorce him if he attempted to gain custody over Sabrina. Roy says that there are a million other ways that my partner and I could have gotten a baby, and that it was selfish and asshole-ish to force his mistress's baby back into his life after he was trying to repair things. He repeatedly pointed out that my partner still thinks she might want to get pregnant at some point soon, and the fact that I haven't denied that I might be pregnant someday as reasons why we should have let Sabrina go to another family, where she wouldn't automatically cause trouble. He is also not only upset about Sabrina being in the family, but about Mary being around too. He really hates her, because he feels like she tried to baby trap him. This couldn't be farther from the truth, as she never wanted to keep the baby one way or another. As to how she got pregnant, they were using condoms and he thought she was on birth control. Mary has admitted that she lied about being on birth control because she didn't like the side effects and he was using condoms anyway. She admits that this was dumb. She's pretty sure she got pregnant when Roy was kind of lazy/impatient and used the same condom for a second round.
Oh!
Roy is absolutely furious at her and thinks that she did it on purpose, but she didn't. And besides that, she was like 19 or something, and obviously not the one at fault here. He's upset about the fact that we don't plan on keeping his paternity a secret when Sabrina is old enough to ask questions. And he has repeatedly said that his problem was solved and that we unsolved it. Roy used to be our parents' favorite. He was very prestigious, very high-paying job. He's their firstborn son, and until they accepted that he and his wife were truly serious about being child-free, they figured he was their best chance at grandkids. I, on the other hand, was always kind of the family weirdo, and my parents have never really understood my personality. And while they haven't been homophobic or anything, I sometimes gotten the vibe that they were a little disappointed I was mostly dating women and settled down with another woman, and that they might have been hoping my sexuality was just a phase and that eventually I'd settle down with a man. Now, however, Roy has gotten a ton of flack from them, and they have been practically showering my partner and me with love and support. He is clearly very, very jealous. Roy was sad that I brought Sabrina into a fucked up family situation, and I should have let her have a chance at going to a normal household. And he has come dangerously close to implying that it's wrong of me for raising her in a non-married, semi-open relationship between two women rather than a traditional married, heterosexual household. I've told him that he can shove his implications, and any part of this that's a problem for him is his own damn fault. Everyone loves Sabrina, and as far as I'm concerned, if that causes problems for Roy and his wife, then that's on them. Some of my friends / acquaintances have expressed limited sympathy for Roy and said that they understand how I'm fucking up his life though, but I disagree. The affair happened, and I don't feel like he should be relying on his wife, forgetting about it, and just keeping it out of sight and out of mind like she's a goldfish or something. So am I the asshole for adopting my brother's affair daughter?
I can see why this is in the category.
Right?
But overall, I think you're not the asshole. Like, I don't know.
I think you're kind of an asshole, but I would do the same thing.
Yeah. Like, this is his mistake, and he's just mad that his mistake has to be there to remind him at every family get-together and everything. Like, he feels guilty for making that mistake.
Yeah.
And it's like, you reap what you sow. You made your bed, now you gotta lay in it. Like,
fuck around and find out.
Like, literally.
Joke, show me for massage.
No thanks.
Damn it. Thought that'd work.
But I don't know. I feel like it works out for OP. Like, her and her partner were planning on adopting anyways.
I think it works out for everyone except for Roy and his wife.
And honestly, he's the one who fucked up. And sorry, but I don't know. Like,
so I feel like as far as Sabrina goes, like, this is a really good situation instead of being like, you know, born into the normal family with like two stable parents who are married and loving each other and like they planned for it and everything.
Right.
Versus now, like, she's not just adopted to some random family who doesn't know her, and they has to be explained that she might never get told she's adopted, or she might get told she's adopted and then have to track down her family or anything. She's literally with her aunt, her grandparents, her mom is in her life a little bit. Well, she'll know who Mary is. She'll know her mom, and her dad will be around. Mm-hmm. It's going to be his choice whether or not he wants to be a complete asshole to his kid or not.
Right.
The person who's getting the worst end of the stick is his wife, because Rory's an asshole. But I think as far as Sabrina growing up, like, she has a huge support system around her. So as far as not, you know, being born into like the, you know, typical standard married couple and, you know, normal, no drama type of situation, you know, she's gonna have a little bit of drama in her life.
Close second.
It's pretty close. She's got a lot of close people around her that love her.
Yes. Yeah, it's not a normal adoption where the parents are strangers, or, you know, like, it's not like they're not blood related.
Yeah.
She's surrounded by people who already love her.
Yeah.
Like,
I would have done the same thing. I don't have a brother, but if I did have a brother who fucked around, I would. I wouldn't want that, my nephew to never know my nephew and, you know, be, you know, random. I feel like I would try and step up. I'd try and do something. I don't know. Or if I can't adopt, like, I would still see if I'm allowed to, like, track them down and, like, be part of their life and help whoever that is. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck Roy.
Yeah, fuck him.
Roy fucked around and he found out hard time. Okay. There's an update. So, small edit. People have asked if Roy could stop the adoption. Technically, sort of, but no. If Roy had tried to block the adoption from going through, then Mary could also back out. And that would just mean that she keeps the baby. And that would mean that Roy pays her child support. It would also mean that our parents would have completely disowned him, probably had Mary move in with them, and that our aunts and uncles and entire extended family would have gone completely nuclear, tearing his life apart. He never had the ability to try to block exactly one person from being able to adopt without also giving Mary the ability to call the whole thing off and accept that she's forced to keep the baby. He never had the option to get what he wanted, which would have been for Sabrina to just disappear. Roy really didn't have any choice about whether or not the adoption went through. Not unless he wanted to pay Mary child support and have Sabrina around anyway. Probably even more. I've never been close with Roy's wife. I've always just been Roy's annoying little sister to her, and she's always just been Roy's wife to me. When I was a kid, she seemed to think I was a pest. And even since I've been an adult, she's always been pretty clear that she doesn't like my fashion or my politics or my, quote, lifestyle. I've never had any kind of feud or drama, but we've never done more than exchange pleasantries and small talk at family gatherings. It's not like we talked much before, so it would have been weird to just start talking to her now. For as much as she says that she cares about traditional values and as much as she's criticized the concept of open relationships, she's also been unfaithful to Roy before. I asked my mom and she confirmed that Roy spotted her nudes on his former friend's phone years ago. And my mom also told me that Roy confirmed his wife and the friend did meet up physically together. She didn't want to go into Roy's business any more than that, and I didn't want to pry anymore. She and Roy do have a prenup, and while I don't know the terms of everything that goes on in their marriage, people have implied that a divorce might not go well for her. Also, to clarify, Mary is not constantly around or there at every family function or anything like that. My partner and I are friends with her, and she's at our place sometimes, and she's at our parents' even rarer than that. She doesn't come to every gathering or hang around constantly at all, even though me and my parents have told her that she's obviously welcome. She's Sabrina's bio mom, and we want to have a good relationship with her and for Sabrina to have a chance to know her. Regarding telling Sabrina that Roy is her bio dad, that's not really much of a choice. We want her to know that we are her bio family, and we want her to know that her grandparents are her grandparents. Unless we told her a giant lie and pretended that none of us are related to her, there would be absolutely no way to hide the fact that Roy is her bio father. Our parents only have one son. We don't plan to super highlight the fact or anything, but Sabrina won't have to be too old before it would be completely obvious. We don't want to lie to her. Finally, my partner and I are over the moon to be my parents and madly in love with Sabrina. I can't imagine just sending her away from two loving parents and a whole bio family that deepens love and wants her to be justified by the idea that she might sometimes have to talk to her asshole dad and she might sometimes see Roy's wife make her little angry, scrunchy face. Her grandparents love her, her aunts and uncles love her, and both of her moms absolutely love her. She has a safe and secure home, and none of us would want her to see her thrown into the unknown. Thanks to everyone who has had insights and words of encouragement. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Top comment. I couldn't get past the part of reusing the condom.
That was absolutely wild.
Person replies and says, right? What the fuck? I've never
I have questions.
Never tried to reuse a condom.
I don't like that. People are weird, man. Like, literally, what's the point? Were you too broke?
Right?
You couldn't get another, like...
Did you see the part where Roy's wife is a stay-at-home partner?
Yep. Goals.
Must be nice.
Goals. So Roy's wife also cheated too. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is like...
Sounds like they got an icky relationship.
But I feel like this is the universe. Just
this is probably why they're still together. She cheated and he was like, fuck you, I'm cheating. And then that's why they're still together.
Yeah. I don't think OP adopted Sabrina to be malicious towards her brother. Obviously,
I think she did it so that the baby didn't get lost in the unknown.
Yes, like she was doing it for the purpose of giving Sabrina a good life.
Exactly.
Which is amazing. But I just think it just happens to be very, what's the word?
Fitting?
Yeah, it's very fitting. And it like tickles a part of my brain very well.
The karma center.
Yeah, it's like, it's karmic justice.
The balances of the world.
It's very fitting that she's going to be a constant reminder of Roy's fuck up.
Yeah, and I wonder how it'll go in their life. Like, I wonder if he'll come, always be completely the asshole. I feel like at some point, it's going to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line. Like, will he continue to be an asshole for her entire life? Or will he step up and accept the fact that, yeah, I am the dad and my sisters adopted her and took over, but I can still be part of her life if I want to.
Yeah, like, will he just finally accept it? Like, this is the reality. I can make, what's the saying? Oh my God, I can't think of
Make
words.
lemonade?
When life gives you lemons.
You can make lemonade.
Yeah, I know. So, like, that's the hand that you were dealt. Or you dealt yourself, actually. But, yeah, like, this is the reality. This is, like, nothing's gonna change. Like, maybe you shouldn't just be so angry towards this child that you had a 50% role in making.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm rambling now. Okay, on to me?
On to you.
Am I the asshole for reading a hurtful journal entry about my sister-in-law after my brother and his wife read my private journals? Growing up, I, 32 male, used to journal. To my knowledge, no one knew about it or read the heartfelt thoughts I recorded, and if they did, they never disclosed that my privacy had been breached. Journaling became a source of comfort, so I continued well into my teenage years. As a male, I felt a bit self-conscious about it, so I used to hide this fact. My parents are moving, and since they've had this house since my childhood, there's a lot of packing, organizing, and decluttering to do. As they're older, they need some help, so my brother, 39 male, and I came over to assist. While helping them, I found my brother and his wife, 38 female, huddled together, snickering as they read through my journal. It was just a regular composition book, but instinctively I knew it was one of my special journals by their stupid giggles. So I asked, "Isn't that mine?" as I walked over. I didn't know exactly what they were reading, but I knew it was obviously personal and none of their business. I told my brother to give it back, and when I reached for it, he told me to chill and snatched it back. We ended up wrestling over the book, causing enough commotion for my parents to come and see/ask what was going on. He said something like, "You guys have to hear this," and starts reading the entry out loud. His wife is outright laughing, and he's struggling to read full sentences without breaking into laughter. The memory of what they're reading comes flooding back, and I feel a wave of huge embarrassment. I was 15 at the time, and my 22-year-old brother had just started dating a girl, his now wife, who I thought was hot and way out of his league. That journal, without exaggeration, is nearly 2 decades old, and yet they were getting a real kick out of themselves, exchanging comments to my detriment and wanting to take pictures of the page. My annoyance turned into irritation. Yes, she was attractive, but within 2 years of their relationship, I realized she was ugly inside. I still feel the same way today. I vividly remember writing something harsh about her in one of my journals when I was 18. It stands out because it happened right after my grandmother passed away, and her behavior during our time of mourning felt selfish and insensitive. She's still that kind of person. So I retrieved the journal that contained that particular passage and read it out loud. I'll admit what I wrote was mean and about how negatively I perceived her character. I told them everything written was my most up-to-date view of her and nothing has changed about them. I truly find them insufferable and unpleasant people. Things went quiet, and then my brother acted like he wanted to fight me. They eventually left. Now, days later, my brother is blaming me for triggering her depression, which I didn't even know she struggled with. He says she's been questioning her character, and my words are really getting to her. I reminded him of the passage I wrote when I was 15, the one they read out loud and found so amusing, and suggested he refer back to that if he wants to cheer her up. He's telling anyone who will listen that I unnecessarily hurt his wife's feelings and that I'm an asshole. Am I the asshole?
I am holding my pillow. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of an asshole. They were just chuckling over reading your journals and you went full tilt and insulted her. But they deserved it. You asked them to stop reading. They didn't. They snatched it back. They wrestled you for it. And you're like, you know what? Fuck you. You want to read some shit? Here's some fucking shit to read. Fuck you.
Sometimes it's okay to be the asshole.
Yeah.
Top comment. Not the asshole. They wanted to read your innermost thoughts and feelings. You gave them...
The innermost thoughts and feelings.
You only gave them more of what they wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think, like, I don't know, things with journals, like, I don't think it's ever funny. I don't think it's a joke, honestly, because you are being so vulnerable in that time, like, when you're writing that. And especially, like, I don't know, even now, like, I remember I had a journal when I was young.
I used to have a journal.
You did?
Yeah.
That actually doesn't surprise me. You're a little cutie. What?
I had a moto journal.
Oh, okay.
My dad used to make me write about my races on the way home.
That's cute.
It was cute.
Yeah, like if someone found my journal now, I mean, I used to write it when I was like in elementary school. I wasn't a teenager. I don't even think like.
I would love to reread my old journals. I can't remember what half those races were that I went to.
I would just be self-conscious if someone wrote it now. Like,
I want to read it. Where are they?
it was mostly about boys that I was obsessed with.
Justin Bieber?
No, boys in my elementary school.
That looked like Justin Bieber?
Yeah, actually. During that time, that hair was in. Yeah, so I get where OP's coming from and why he wanted to make them stop, and that shut them up. That shut them right up.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on?
Yep.
Am I the asshole for letting my ex-girlfriend have gonorrhea for a year?
I'm so sorry. I beg your pardon?
About 18 months ago, I, 31 male at the time, began dating a woman, Beth, 24 female at the time. Beth and I had a lot in common, and we met fairly often. I've always taken my sexual health very seriously, and early in our relationship, I demanded we have full STI panels done. Beth was fully on board with this, and we went and got tested together. We were able to show clean tests to each other, and since Beth was on the pill, our intercourse was all done unprotected. About 5 months into our relationship, Beth went on a 3-week vacation in France. She came home talking about how she had a wonderful time, showing me pictures and stories. On our first night back, having been 3 weeks without sex, we naturally had sex a few times. 2 days after that, I had extreme pain during urination and discharge from my penis. I honestly had no idea what was going on, so I went to a urologist who immediately told me that I must have a bacterial infection. He asked if I had been exposed to any STIs, to which I responded I hadn't. He then said for a precautionary measure, he'd give me a preemptive treatment for bacterial STIs while waiting for my lab results. A few days later, my lab results came back. By that time, my symptoms had entirely disappeared. I went to the doctor's office and he explained that I had gonorrhea. I was stunned because Beth was my only partner, which meant one thing: she had cheated on me when she was in Europe. At this point, I just ghosted Beth, blocked her on all social media, blocked her phone number. I assumed she tried to reach out in some way, but she never came to my house to see me. I figured that was the end of it, and I lived my life as normal for the next year. Well, yesterday, I got a visit at my front door. It was Beth. She broke down, telling me that she had exposed me to an STI, and that if I hadn't already, I should get tested. I explained that I already knew that, and that's why I ghosted her. Beth was stunned for a second, and then shrieked at me, "Why the fuck didn't you tell me?" Apparently, having gonorrhea for a year wreaked havoc on her reproductive system. She may be completely infertile now. She always wanted to have children. I'm conflicted now about if what I did was asshole-less. At the time, I was just depressed that I just couldn't bring myself to talk to her about it. So, am I the asshole?
Oh my god. That is very, very unfortunate. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't think he did it, like, or he refrained from reaching out to her because he wanted her, I don't know, he wanted her to figure it out on her own or whatever. Like, I think he just honestly was heartbroken and didn't want anything to do with her anymore, which is valid. But that's fucked. Like, now she has permanent damage.
How does
she not know? How does she not?
Maybe it reacts differently with
but
women
it's also
than men?
like, I don't know. Like, yes, he could have prevented it, or like prevented it from getting this bad. But
is that his problem?
It's not, because like she made that choice to cheat.
She decided to sleep with other people.
Yeah,
I feel like her STIs are her problem.
That's tough.
I feel like you're kind of an asshole because you could have saved her.
Yeah,
and you didn't.
But he didn't do that to be like, oh, I hope she can't have babies in the future. Like,
no.
You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. This is tough. These ones are all tough. Like, yeah, okay, I agree. I think it's like, you're an asshole, but I think it's okay. Like,
what if you're standing on a cliff, edge of a cliff, right? Like the cliff, imagine the rock is overhanging and then it comes back. So underneath the rock is nothing. And you and your best friend are standing there. And for some reason, your best friend just takes out a knife and he stabs you in the back. But then the ground shakes and the cliff falls. And your best friend is hanging by one hand from the cliff. Do you help your friend up? Because it's like, hey, you just tried to murder me? Or do you you walk away and you let them fall to their death? Because it's like, hey, you just tried to murder me.
Well,
why do I need to save you?
In that case, it would be self-defense to just let them go.
But they're not trying to kill you anymore.
How do you know?
Now they're hanging because they're hanging on for their dear life by their pinky.
But what if they get back up and they're like, okay, now's the time?
That's true.
I like your analogies.
There you go.
Yeah, that's tough.
Top comment. Most of the time, this is a mandated reporting thing, meaning your MD had a responsibility to let the health department know and ask about any partners, as well as offer to treat them as well. The health department then calls all your partners and tells them to get tested / treats them. It probably varies slightly by state, but this is the norm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew it's like you have a legal obligation to tell anybody that you have an STD or an STI before having sex with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that makes sense. As like a health organization.
I don't know.
All right.
Back to you?
Yes. Okay. Which one should I do? I have an update to the, I found out my husband has been telling his coworkers that I'm his sister. What do I do? Or...
Yeah, give us the update.
Or, am I the asshole for telling my husband I cheated on him even though I didn't?
Oh, okay, that one sounds good. Tell you what, give us the update and then give us the other one on next week's Patreon episode.
Okay, perfect.
So if you guys want that story, come join our Patreon, patreon.com/ThreadTalk podcast. Bonus weekly episodes.
Woo! All right. So if you're new here and you didn't hear the original post, I don't know what episode this was from.
A couple now. We forget which episode this is from. So if you guys remember, make sure you guys drop it down in the comments below. And if you're on YouTube, smash that like button.
But basically the gist of it is that she found out that her husband, obviously by the title, was telling his coworkers that she was his sister. And she ran into a couple of his coworkers. They referred to her as husband's sister instead of wife. And then it ended like she was spiraling. She was like, how do I confront him? Blah, blah, blah. Am I overreacting? Blah, blah, blah.
Do we have the confrontal?
Yes, we do.
Let's go.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to thank you for the overwhelming amount of support and advice. I'm blown away and it really means a lot and has kept me grounded. I'm sorry for the slow update. I know a lot of you were interested in what happened. I actually tried to update on Saturday. Whatever. I'll just get into it. On Saturday morning, I woke up earlier than my husband, and he was very hungover, so he was sleeping like a rock. But you guys will be proud of me because I followed some advice and needed to look through his phone properly while he was sleeping. I have been on his phone so often, just pissing around on it, that I had never thought to check anything very deeply. I know that his passcode by heart. I checked all the expected things like Instagram DMs, Facebook Messenger, his iMessages, etc. And I didn't find anything that set off alarm bells to me. But I know from some comments that people who are cheating are good at covering their tracks and hiding messages, so I kept looking around. I saw he had a folder called Work, so I looked in there, and he had a couple of Microsoft apps, Outlook, Authenticator, OneNote, etc. But he also had Microsoft Teams. So I opened that up and had a look around. It did feel like I might have been breaking laws looking at his work messages, but I obviously had to. Anyways, I was already upset to see that he had a bunch of one-on-one chats with several female coworkers, which at first glance is obviously not an issue because everyone works with people of the opposite gender and are required to communicate with them. But a couple of them are vaguely flirty. Nothing I would call egregious, but there would be an occasional message between them with some playful innuendo or a winky face. These upset me, obviously, and they send me into a bit of a spiral. But I didn't find anything that suggested he was having an out-and-out affair with any of them. Still, I followed someone's suggestion of screenshotting the messages and I airdropped them to myself. I still wanted some evidence of the lie though, some proof of Josh telling someone that I was his sister directly. A commenter suggested that I go through his messages and search for keyword sister. So I searched for sis on his Microsoft Teams, hoping to find results for both sister and sis. A bunch of messages from all hands group chat and a one-on-one chat came up from other people, all unrelated and about their own sisters or whatever. But my heart dropped out of my ass when I saw there was a direct message from Jake, the guy from the bar, to Josh from a Monday a few months ago. Jake's message said, "Ran into your sis at the bar on Friday. She's single, right?" And my husband had the fucking gall to reply, "Nah, she's married." I literally almost burst into flames on the spot when I saw that. I can't even describe how much I was shaking after reading those messages. Firstly, that I could have confronted Josh about this months ago. I was, and still am, so furious with myself for that. Josh would have been fucking praying I didn't remember meeting Jake, or that I wouldn't mention it, and he would have been counting his lucky stars that I never did. He probably thought he was hot shit for getting away with that, and I nearly burnt a hole through the floor thinking about it, lol. But secondly, I was just in shock that he had the balls to tell the guy that I'm the one who is married, because he doesn't want anyone having it on with me, but he is allowed to coyly flirt with every fucking woman in the office. Anyways, I kept going back through the search results on his Microsoft Teams, and eventually I got as far back as 2-ish years ago, and I did in fact find a message from Josh himself to a group chat. It said, "Me and my sis in Nusa Dua." I clicked on that and saw that he had sent it alongside a bunch of other photos of him and I from our holiday to Bali. We went to Bali for our 2nd anniversary. I thought he probably chose those photos because he's shirtless and had been working out, so he looked hot in all of them. I was in tears seeing all of this, obviously. I took screenshots of those two and airdropped them all to myself. Needless to say, I was devastated, and still am, to see all of that. I am still struggling to even process it all. But that all happened on Saturday morning, and I immediately took myself to my friend's house. I'll call her Sophie. I went to her place to cry it out and show her what I found, and she was extremely supportive and probably more furious than me, lol. At around 1:30 p.m., I got a phone call from Josh, and I hung it up immediately. He sent me a few messages along the lines of, "Where are you, baby? I'm ordering food. Want some? Sad not to wake up to you this morning." Sad face. Guys, I have to reiterate how much I loved this man, and how fucking heart-wrenching it was to see him still acting like nothing had gone wrong. It took so much willpower to not just pretend none of it had ever happened and go home to him. I know a lot of you will yell at me or accuse me of being terrified of confronting him about this, which is not true. Please have some empathy. It takes me time to process my emotions, and I wouldn't have even been able to form a sentence if I tried to confront him immediately after seeing those messages. I needed some time away with Sophie to recollect myself, and so I stayed the night at her place. She ordered us Chinese and she helped me plan how I would confront him. I got a bunch more texts and calls from him as the evening progressed, and I eventually put my phone down on Do Not Disturb. Sunday morning, woke up feeling more angry than sad, so I opened my phone and finally replied to his messages. "Coming home now, we need to talk." I kept it cryptic to make him squirm, to be honest. Because I was/am fraught with emotions, I can't remember the entire conversation word for word, but I'll try to replay it as best as I can. Long story short, I got home and he tried to hug me, but I refused him and we just stood in the kitchen. I did confront him like someone suggested. I just said, "Why have you been telling your coworkers I'm your sister?" I wish it would have been like a movie scene where the color drained from his face or he immediately looked like a deer in headlights, but he didn't. It was like he had been girding himself for this confrontation for a while, because he just frowned at me and looked flabbergasted. He just said, "Huh?" This made me so angry. How are you going to pretend to be stupid after 3 years of lying? I basically said, "Don't play fucking dumb. 2 of your coworkers have greeted me as your sister, and I have proof of you telling them. And I know you're pretending to be single." Essentially, I asked him what he had to say for himself. He still played stupid. He became moderately defensive and just kept saying, "I don't know what you're talking about," or "Why would I lie about you?" I cannot describe how furious I was at this point, but I was in tears. I always cry when I'm angry. So he was trying to comfort me as I was having some kind of irrational breakdown. I showed him the screenshot of his message saying, "Me and sis," and I said something like, "You tell me." He just said, "I don't know what I'm looking at," and "I'm confused." I got so angry that I left again and went back to Sophie's because it felt like a dead-end road. I didn't think I was going to get him to admit to anything, and I was just getting so furious I couldn't continue. He was really upset and in tears, which to me was evidence that he knew he was lying, and that he was going to have to come up with some explanation. He tried to get me to stay, but I told him that until you have something to say for yourself, we've got nothing to talk about. At like 8:30-ish, he called me again, and I did pick up. He basically asked for us to talk, and he said he has some things to say. So I went back to our apartment. He had written out a bunch of stuff on a piece of paper as if he had prepared a speech and sat me down on the couch. He asked me not to say anything while he was explaining himself. I'll write down the gist of what he said in bullet points. He started by apologizing relentlessly and admitting that he pretended to be stupid before because he couldn't immediately think of something to say for himself. He said that immediately after he started at his job, he realized the atmosphere was like a frat house. All of his team members were men in their 20s and 30s that were single and quote-unquote fuckboys, his words. He noticed that the one guy in their team that was married would either get picked on or essentially be excluded from any and all social interactions. That included getting lunch, inside jokes, going out on Fridays, etc. These guys were friendly and welcoming to Josh, and he admitted that he was desperate to fit in with them. He hated feeling like fresh meat. So he was scared that saying he was married would alienate him from his coworkers, and at first just never mentioned that he was married. He said he did wear his wedding ring and that they just never pointed it out. A few months in, they were all drinking after work. He admitted that after one of his workmates saw pictures of him and I on his lock screen, they asked him who I was, and in a moment of panic, he said, "My sister." He was really apologetic at this point, and he was crying a lot. He couldn't even look at me, and he was just reading what he had written down. Anyways, he said that from then on, he basically dug himself a deeper and deeper grave because they kept grilling him about me and wanting to see more pictures of me. He said he had let it go for too long and that he didn't have the balls to admit to the lie. They would always bring me up and ask shit like, "Did you give her my number yet?" or joke that they had slept with me, etc. So when he got that message from Jake, he essentially thought it was just him taking the piss, but he didn't like the jokes they were making about me and said that I was married in hopes they would stop. They didn't. He said that this wasn't the first time he told them I was married. In fact, he had said so pretty much immediately after saying I was his sister. He said that those pictures of us in Nusa Dua were the only pictures that he had purposely sent them and deliberately lied about after what he called an endless barrage of pestering from his colleagues to share the pics from his holidays. He said he was really ashamed that he did that. He told me that he had never had an affair or even considered it, that the messages between him and his female colleagues were banter, and that it was commonplace to talk to people like that in the office. He also said he knows how disgusting it is and he is embarrassed to have been acting like a fuckboy. Again, his words. He concluded his speech by apologizing again and said that he was disgusted with himself and ashamed that he had lied for so long, but he felt like he trapped himself and that he couldn't find a way to get himself out of it. He said he doesn't know he could have confessed the truth to either his coworkers or to me at any point, but that he didn't want to because he was a coward. He said that he'll confess to his entire office that he lied and that I am his wife and not his sister if I want him to. He said that he will quit his job without a word if it would make me feel better, and that he hopes I can forgive him, but he understands if I can't. Anyways, I couldn't really think of anything to say at this point. He went to lock himself in the bathroom, and I just sat on the couch crying. I still don't know if I can trust what he said, and a lie that extreme is just baffling to me. If he can lie like that for so long, what else could he be lying about? But his explanation and apologies seemed so sincere and genuine, and I guess to an extent, what he said is believable. He has always been extroverted, but very susceptible to peer pressure, especially from other blokes. If nothing else, to me, it's a sign of shocking immaturity. Anyways, I packed up a bag and went back to Sophie's, and I'm still at her place as I'm writing this. She said I can stay as long as I need to. I told Josh I needed time away from him to think about everything and whether or not I believe him or whether I can trust him again. He told me to take as long as I needed and that he will still be there if or when I get back. He said, even if it takes years. Right now, nothing feels real. I'm still dealing with the emotional whiplash from all of this, and I can't keep my food down or think about anything. I've taken the day off work, and Josh has told me he's going to take the whole week off. Sophie and my other friends have told me not to make a decision on anything until my head is clear. I spoke to my parents this morning, and my mom says it's just a bump in the road, but she and my dad adore Josh, so they're pretty biased, lol. That's where I am right now. I'll take some time before I consider my next steps. I can't say whether I'm leaning towards forgiveness or divorce, but those are really the only options. I kind of feel lost in a void at the moment. That's probably the best way to describe it. Just emptiness. Thanks again for all of your advice and support. I'm truly so grateful, and having this place to write down all of my thoughts has been so helpful to get my mind a little clearer. This will be my last update, unless I make an edit to clear things up. All the best.
This is wild.
Yeah.
I'm torn.
I know.
I don't know.
Am too.
I'm very torn. It could be a bump in the road, but there's also like the fundamentals of the lying, of not being big enough to just stand up for yourself.
So true.
By caring so much in the workplace, but what the bros think and stuff. So it's like that kind of goes down to like the fundamentals. But it is your husband who, for a lot of other reasons, you chose to make him your husband, and everything else was good. And there's a little bit of trust lost there, but didn't turn out like he was cheating. I'm torn on this.
I know. I'm trying to think like if you did this to me.
Same. I'm trying to think if I could do this to you. I'd be more her on the principle and the lying, not the lie.
Yeah.
I can. Why wouldn't you tell me? Why didn't he come home and say, babe, I fucking panicked. The guys in my work are fucking assholes.
That's so
I didn't want to get made fun of, so I accidentally told them you're my sister because I panicked like a fucking idiot.
I think that's the difference. Like, if you did do this, like, you would come home and tell me immediately, just because we tell each other everything.
Exactly.
So, yeah, like, even if, like, you were too much of a coward to, like, tell the truth to your coworkers, like, you would still come home and tell me. Like, I just think that is the piece that's, like, missing for me. Because I feel like the rest is forgivable, maybe.
I feel like you could... If it was... I don't have any advice for her, because my advice is you go either way.
Yeah.
You're justified either way.
I agree.
You're justified in sticking it out because, yeah, it could be a bump in the road. Everything else is perfect. Could be not that big of a deal in hindsight. But you're also justified on, like, maybe it's the fundamentals. Maybe it's the lying. Why didn't you tell you? And you kept going, and you're kind of a coward. Yeah. So could go either way.
Yeah. Yeah. This one, when I was reading it, I was like, like, for me, I don't think I would divorce. Just because I love you too much.
I love you so much, but why would you lie to me?
Stop. I didn't.
Basically, you did. You pretty much did. I have to put myself in the mindset like you did.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. There's no other updates. There's no comments from OP.
That's a wild, twisted one.
Yeah, this update was posted 27 days ago. Sorry for I've had it on every episode.
Yeah, we just keep getting to the end of the episode and you haven't read it. I have to keep pushing it along to the next week.
Sorry, guys. But yeah, there it is.
That update was worth it. That was good.
It was worth it, yeah.
Damn.
Top comment. Top comment. Call Jake and start a conversation. Then ask him if your brother is popular with the ladies.
That's pretty good.
That's a pretty good way to see if he's lying and cheating.
Yeah. I would just go for, like, I want your phone for, like, 7 hours. I'm doing a deep dive over here.
She did. She already did. She didn't find anything.
True. I don't know.
Yeah, tough.
Complicated.
What do you guys think?
No right or wrong answer on that one.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to wrap this up with one more of my stories. They're both relatively short, so I'll let you choose. Okay. The one that Teresa doesn't pick will go on to our weekly Patreon episode.
Awesome.
Am I the asshole for loudly confronting my coworker in front of everyone when she wrongfully believed that I had groomed my wife? Or am I the asshole for dropping our dinner on the ground and walking out when my boyfriend asked me, "What's for dinner, bitch?"
Oh. That was just gonna make me mad. Let's end on a somewhat positive note, I guess.
Okay.
The first one.
Okay. Am I the asshole for loudly confronting my coworker in front of everyone when she wrongfully believed I had groomed my wife? So, I am 30 years old and a male. My wife, Jessica, is 22. My wife has a 7-year-old son, Max, who she had when she was 15 years old. The father, who was her boyfriend in junior high and is the same age as Jessica, actually left the state when he and his family learned that she was pregnant. Jessica has no idea where he is, and since her family is well off, she didn't really need or care for his support. I met Jessica when she was 20. We dated for a year, and then we got married when she was 21. I love Max, and I raised him as if he was my own son. Well, last month, Max came to my workplace with Jessica in the early afternoon to surprise me with a lunch outing. As they waited for me to finish up a meeting, the front desk secretary, Claire, chatted with Jessica. I wasn't there for the conversation, but Claire was stunned at how young Jessica looked, and Jessica said that she was 22. Apparently, Claire did a bit of napkin math and came to the following conclusions that Jessica is 22, I am 30, Max is 7. That means that Jessica and I had Max when she was 15 and I was 23. Apparently, from that day on, Claire began gossiping about this. I had no idea what was going on, but I did notice that Claire abruptly changed her attitude towards me, glaring when she thought I wasn't looking, or rolling her eyes when I talked to other people. Well, today at work, when I was in the bathroom washing my hands, I overheard Claire gossiping with a new hire about my underage wife, outside the door by the water cooler. I left the bathroom and then walked up behind Claire. She turned around and looked like a deer in headlights at me, and so I announced loudly, "Hi, Claire. You see, I'm not Max's biological father. In all your gossiping to other people, you forgot to consider the most obvious possibility, which that I am his stepfather. I will, by the way, be reporting you to HR for this." I headed directly to HR and explicitly told them what Claire had said, and the manager, a fellow gossip friend of Claire's, asked if I really wanted to escalate over something so small. I said yes. She then told me Claire is a single mother and relies on this job, and that I shouldn't have embarrassed her in front of the office like that. I insisted on filing the report. After coming down a bit, I kind of feel bad for what I did. Claire cried at her desk and left early. Was I the asshole to approach the issue that way?
No. This isn't even sometimes it's okay to be the asshole type of thing. This is just like, you're not the asshole. You did what had to be done. You had to shut down those rumors. You had to let the whole office know, because that rumor was spread across the whole office because of her.
Yeah.
I feel like he had to publicly...
That's like fighting fire with fire.
I guess
technically, you're kind of an asshole to that. She's an asshole too, but you became an asshole by announcing it so loudly and yelling at her in front of everyone. Like, wouldn't the proper procedure just go to HR with your complaint?
Yeah, but sometimes, like, rage takes over.
Okay. When rage takes over, you're an asshole.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's still not the asshole for me.
I feel like he's kind of an asshole a little bit. I'm okay with it. I think she deserved it. But I think the most non-asshole resolution would have been just straight to HR.
Yeah, I guess.
And then the rumors would have spread around the office about how Claire was wrong.
It is like fighting fire with fire.
Yeah.
And Claire's the secretary, right?
Yep.
Claire had it coming to her. Sorry. She lost her job. Like, yes, it sucks that she's a single mom and she needs this job, but like, why are you talking to the new hire about it?
Right?
Why the fuck are you talking to the new hire?
Exactly.
That's just like so petty. And
somebody who has to just talked about anybody kind of reminds me of the scorpion and the frog, about them yelling at each other. Have you ever heard the story of the scorpion and the frog?
No. But you're going to tell me.
A scorpion wants to cross a river but cannot swim, so it asks a frog to carry it across. The frog hesitates, afraid that the scorpion might sting it, but the scorpion promises not to, pointing out that it would drown if it killed the frog in the middle of the river. The frog considers this argument sensibly and agrees to transport the scorpion. Midway across the river, the scorpion stings the frog anyway, dooming them both. The dying frog asks the scorpion why it stung despite knowing the consequences, to which the scorpion replies, I am sorry, but I couldn't help myself. It's my character.
You're saying that Claire is like this because she just can't help but gossip?
I'm just saying, like, if they're fighting fire with fire.
Oh, I don't know if I understand.
Maybe that doesn't make as much sense
I don't
now
really
that I've read
see
it out
the
loud.
correlation at all, but
I'm sorry.
good story though. Interesting.
Okay. Top comment. Not the asshole. Since when is starting a false rumor that someone is a pedophile in the workplace something small? The manager has lost her mind or is trying to gaslight you.
Yeah.
You should have told the manager that it was either report her to HR or sue her for defamation. By the way, Claire could have apologized to you when you told her that she was wrong instead of acting like she was the victim in the situation.
Period.
All right. That's it. That's the last one.
That's all. Do we have any life updates?
We do, actually.
We do.
We do.
We do have a not so happy one ish.
That's true, too.
I want to talk about it though.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
haven't really brought the cats on ish.
Well, you know.
Well, they don't really stay.
They don't really stay. They stay at the beginning and then they peace out.
I know.
We need to get a better hammock.
When we used to film in our living room, you guys were like big fans of the cats. So now we have an update for you on Luna because she just got some eye surgery.
She got an ulcer removed on her eyeball and then a skin graft put on her eyeball.
Was it an ulcer? I don't know if that's like entirely.
It was a black dot on her eye. They shaved off the first couple layers of her eyeball and then they put a skin graft on top of her eyeball.
Yes, that was what they did. So she's now wearing a cone for like 3 weeks. Yeah, minimum.
We have to give her 17 eye drops a day.
Oh my god, it's brutal, guys. And medication, like the pills.
And she will not open her mouth. Jack, we have to give him a steroid pill now every other day for his irritable bowel syndrome. But
IBD, irritable bowel disease for cats.
Okay, my bad. But with Jack, I put one hand on his back and I bring my 2 fingers up to his mouth and opens his mouth. It plops right in and he eats it up.
Yep.
Luna locks her mouth like a freaking alligator.
Literally. She's like, yeah.
She closes her mouth and she will start whipping her head back and forth. And we have to be careful because we're trying to hold her, but we don't want to like touch her eyeball when she starts whipping back and forth.
Yeah.
So Teresa started like crunching it up and putting it into a syringe and just shooting it down her throat.
Yeah, which has been working.
Yeah.
Thankfully. But the drops aren't fun either. Like,
no, and her eyeball looks haggard and they shaved half of her face off. They shaved all of her hair right around her eyeball so that they could do the eye surgery. So she has no hair like that. She looks like Frankenstein.
she looks like an alien a little bit.
Her eye is still puffed up a little bit. It crusts around the outside, so we have to like wet wipe her face every day. And she doesn't like that either. She twists her head away too. She's a very picky person or kitty. So poor Luna's had a rough go of it.
Yeah. Out of the two, Jack is the unproblematic king.
Remember, like, it was last year, we had to go take him overnight. He had to get an IV. He came back with his whole belly shaved off.
Yes.
And at that point, he was problematic. And we're like, Luna has no freaking issues over there. Jack's the one with all these issues.
That's true. They both have issues, I guess. Yeah.
I missed Jack's shaved little belly. I'm like, can we just... Is it cruel if we just shaved our cat? I think it is cruel, so we haven't done it.
It is cruel. We're not doing that.
But we used to like rub it. I just rubbed it all the time. It was so precious.
Yeah, but she's doing well. And we're happy that she got the surgery so that she won't be getting eye infections every week. Because that was the case.
Yeah, she's getting eye infections like every other week.
It wasn't technically eye infections. It was just that the ulcer was bothering her.
Yeah.
It was just like the same thing over
and over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully it gets better.
We'll show you guys when she is more up to it. I'm sure it's going to take a while for her fur to grow back. So
it's already doubled in length.
It has. You're a liar. Or you're delusional.
No, you're just... When it goes from like nothing to a little bit, that's like doubling.
Sure.
It was like no hair, and now it's really short, stubby hair.
No, I remember Jack's tummy.
Took a long time.
It took months to grow back.
I'm just saying the first double doesn't take a very long time. And then the next double does. And then the double after that does. And then the next one's like fully grown.
Okay.
But that first double, you're going from like nothing to very short. So my double, like, it works. Saying it double works.
Whatever.
It's like being bald and then your hair grows and it's fuzz. My hair just doubled. It's like I have no beard right now. And then after a day or two, my facial hair will have doubled. Because it went from nothing to being really short.
Okay, sure. Got it.
Thank you.
What else? What other life update?
We are going to go skiing in Mount Tremblant.
Oh, yes. We did book a little ski trip.
Booked a little pre-Christmas
I still got to
Mount Tremblant Village.
Can get the time off work.
We booked
I requested it.
She requested it, and we booked the refundable hotel. So if all goes to shit, we can refund it.
Yes.
I still have to buy myself new snowboard boots because my laces broke last year.
Yeah. I'm not that good at skiing, though, so.
Well, it's a big hill, but there's still lots of greens and blues. They just last longer.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be nervous, though, for going.
Well, you will be, but you're nervous every time we try anything like that.
This is true.
So you'll be fine after the first run.
This is true.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Another update is that we're starting to compile our spooky stories, our Halloween stories.
We're working survivor stories.
Yes.
So, give you guys, since we're at the end of the episode, we'll give you guys a little preview of what we have coming up. So on my Google Doc here, so this week is episode 44. And then we have episode 45, which is going to come out October 1st. We don't know what that's going to be yet. Episode 46, October 8th. We don't know. That's blank too. And then episode 47, we're thinking we'll get into spooky stories. And then episode 48, we'll get into Halloween stories. And then episode 49 will be like the 2 days before Halloween. We'll do that one, survival stories. I've got some good ones so far.
I have none for that category.
I've got a story from that Las Vegas shooting that happened 7 years ago or something like that. And then I got another like movie theater one, and then a couple other ones. They're pretty wild. It's a really dark, scary one. That's people's real experiences with near death. Mm-hmm. But we talked about it a little while ago. It seems like you guys.
Yeah, we got a lot of overwhelming amount of people that really want that episode.
Seems like a lot of people want that. Won't be a regular thing. So yeah, it'll be kind of like a one-off theme.
Yes.
Episode, and we got to start working on the spooky fact or fiction, I think, or something, or just spooky stories. I don't know.
I think spooky stories, but we're thinking about dressing up. Obviously,
Halloween episode. I am dressing up. Teresa needs some suggestions. I already know what I'm getting. I'm not ruining it. I'm not talking about it anymore.
I think you already did.
Right? So I don't want to say it again. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, go back.
Okay.
And if you know, drop it down in the comments down below and let us know if you do know what I plan to be for Halloween.
And I need suggestions, please. If you know what Denver is going to be, should I match him? Should I do a couple thing with him? Or should I just be my individual self? Should I be a cutesy something? Give me suggestions, please, because I haven't dressed up for Halloween in a while.
I've got a suggestion for you.
What?
The T-Rex.
The inflatable one with the head?
The inflatable T-Rex.
How am I going to film in that?
We'll
I'm not doing that.
We'll plug it through. We'll get like a little plug and we'll like tape
How
it tight.
am I going to sit?
No, you'll sit.
How?
Well, just how you are, and the costume will just go up above you.
I'm not doing that.
I want to be a T-Rex now.
Please. No. So if you guys can comment on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you're listening. I don't think Apple Music or Apple Podcasts has comment options. But if you can comment what you guys want to see me be, that would be amazing. It would also give me some ideas and help.
Yeah, while you're commenting, if you're on Spotify, don't forget, 5-star review. Help us out, please. And YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Thank you. And if you guys are binging and you're all out of episodes, there is like 17 episodes on Patreon now and new ones coming out every single week. So it's really worth that investment for you guys. And you be knowing that you're helping support us. So thank you very much.
Thank you all so much. We love and appreciate you guys. And
time for dinner.
Time for dinner.
We're going to the keg.
Hell yeah.
She's just like, I just want to go to the keg. We haven't been to the keg in a while. And I'm like, all right, let's go to the keg tonight. Let's get all of our restaurant stuff in because next year we're going to live out in the middle of nowhere where it's not going to be easy and convenient to go to restaurants.
Yep. Can't wait.
Yeah. It'll be a 45-minute drive from the nearest keg in our new place.
Fantastic. That is so ideal. All right. Thank you guys for listening. If you got this far, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Peace out.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.